What's going on, guys? It's your boy Darian Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter, and finally, I am out of jail. And no, not the real jail. I'm out of YouTube jail after 3 months of no streams. That's gonna finally change in the next coming months as I can finally start streaming again. And I finally have the NASCAR Weekly Podcast hosted back on my channel again. Tonight, we are going to have both Dylan Smith and Radman on later. So let's get right into it with our intros. Jarrett?
What's up, everybody? On the iceberg, back again. Can't wait to talk about it. We really didn't have that much this week to talk about. Nothing really. So probably a short show, right? Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm pretty happy to be on tonight. I don't want to really stay too long on my intro, so I'm gonna pass it over to Eric.
Hey guys, what's up? Eric Estep here, ready again. I'm thrilled to be back on Black Flags Matters channel. This is like a dream come true. I mean, if it couldn't be on Danny's channel, I'd love it to be on Darian's. But no, we got, Jared's doing a good job of playing coy over there, but we definitely have a big show in store for y'all. We have two great guests that will be joining us shortly. So I'm really excited. And yeah, I guess we should just roll right into it. There's so much to talk about. We got to start getting some things off our chests.
Oh yeah, there is a ton to talk about in this one. So I have a list. Right here. You're on my list. So let's start off tonight with the Roval. Probably the best race of the season. I'll have my opinion after I hear your guys' first. So Eric, why don't you start us off? What a race.
Yes, great race. I know we always like to rate races on a scale of 1 to 10. This might be I'm not gonna say it's the first race in history for me, but this race gets a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm not gonna break the scale here, but it was a reasonable 10 out of 10. I said on my channel last week that I thought it was, or earlier this week, that this was the best NASCAR race I've ever watched. Had a little bit of everything, had good battles for the lead, more passing than any of us expected, I think, for this track. And, coming in, a lot of people worried that there wasn't going to be enough passing zones, and the drivers just made passing zones out of nowhere, and sometimes tried to make passing zones, and it didn't work, and that just made it all the more entertaining. This is a weekend where Friday to Sunday was basically nonstop entertainment. Practice was as entertaining as the race. Well, not as entertaining as this race, but as entertaining as most races are. This race had everything, had drama at the end, had a surprise winner, had wrecks here and there, it had everything. It even had tempers at the end of it. It was literally the perfect NASCAR race. Not a lot else I can say there. It was great.
Man, I originally, because I watched it on a stream and it had 5 different camera angles on it, right? And I was like, oh, that was really good. I was originally giving me 9.5 out of 10. I was like, oh, it's little gripes here or there, but it's I went back and watched it, and I was like, man, this race is awesome. This was just as good as the Bristol race. It's just as good as Chicagoland. Just as good of finishes. I mean, I got to say that after the lackluster first 16 weeks we have been blessed since the end of June, start of July. Almost every race has been either really good and better than most years, or has been the race at the track, say Indianapolis, while not the greatest race ever, has still been the best race in a long time, if ever, for the specific tracks. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, I mean, if this is how it's going to be the rest of the year, I really want to stay with this package, just this schedule, just keep everything the same, because this is really good. I was not looking forward to Dover. I was happy that I got to run my marathon with Dover, as the race, because I'd missed what I viewed as one of the most boring races of the year. Now I can't wait. I feel bad that I'm going to be having to watch this race late this week. So Roval overall, I was really happy with it, and I think the race, all in all, complete success. And I think everyone at Charlotte Motor Speedway and in NASCAR involved with it should be applauded, because that was a great weekend.
Man, you pretty much said it all there, man. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 like Eric here, but I'll give it a 9.5, man. Just the whole entire race from start to finish was awesome. I was watching it in my apartment living room with my roommate, Matt. And Matt, he's not even a NASCAR fan either, but I was like, dude, this is a race you have to watch. And even he said, like, oh my gosh, like that race was awesome. And pretty much the whole time we were pretty much rooting for Kyle Larson to win, because Larson is my championship pick. And by the way, I think a higher power wants Larson to win the championship, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, man, just the whole race from start to finish was just amazing. You saw some passes down there. Like it wasn't it wasn't I'm not gonna cuss on here. It just wasn't a crap show, I guess you could say. But man, it was so awesome. We had long green flag runs and stuff, and it looked like for a second it was going to go down to fuel mileage between Larson and Keselowski, which I don't think either of them would have made it on fuel. I think Truex would have won the race because he was like 15 seconds back behind them. He was saving a ton. And then Stenhouse just does what he does and wrecks as usual and pretty much bunches up the field. And then Keselowski, this is why I hate this system. Keselowski, who was already locked in, almost screws Kyle Larson out of a playoff spot, out of advancing to the next round. He was already locked in. He had nothing to lose. He locks the brakes. Him and Kyle Busch, by the way. And I think a lot of other drivers did as well. Like Menard did, Byron did, like all these guys. And then pretty much we had that great finish with Johnson and Truex. And I was cheering for Johnson as well. I think I speak for a lot of us in saying that Johnson, we were pretty much rooting for to win right there.
Like I noticed at the end of that race, like on the final 3 laps, they were doing a lot of side by side. They were showing Almirola trying to get into the final playoff spot, and then they were showing Truex and Johnson. As exciting as the playoff spot was, being a Larson fan, wanting Almirola and Larson to somehow get in, I was watching Johnson versus Truex because Jimmy Johnson had maybe his best race. I was going to say start to finish, but I guess start to almost the finish that he's probably had all season. He looked like old school Jimmy Johnson until the very last lap. And that was really fun to see. So, and you're right. You brought up the strategy. When I was saying earlier that the race had everything, I totally forgot to mention that it even had a little bit of fuel strategy racing in there. This race literally demonstrated the best things about every aspect of NASCAR. You like wrecks? We had a big wreck, a spectacle wreck. You like crazy finishes? We had one of the craziest finishes of all time. You want a fuel mileage race? We had a very interesting fuel mileage race. You want people screwing up? Stenhouse, he's got you covered. You had a little bit of everything in this race. And it's not even like you just had, a little bit of everything. You had the best version of every single thing. And you just can't say that about like any other race that I've seen. And that's why I'm just on cloud 9 this whole week after that race, because it was perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
Stenhouse is every time it's like we have something that we can defend him with. He always comes back with like a string of races where the old Spinhouse nickname comes to fruition, because it's like it's almost as if it's like this race is starting. A lot of because I know a lot of people don't like fuel mileage races. I do. I think I'm in the minority on that one, but. People are like, oh, boring race. We need to caution Stenhouse right there. He's got you.
He delivers. He's the real life caution clock.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, that's the reason that we didn't have the caution clock in the Cup Series, only the truck, is because Brian France at least knew that Ricky Stenhouse would be in Cup.
Oh, that's cold. That is cold right there.
Poor Ricky.
So really quick, Dylan Smith just got home from his kickball game. I just sent him the link again. The first one wasn't working, so hopefully he'll be in here. Oh, hold it up. I had to click on Jarrett there. So hopefully he'll be on here in a little bit to discuss the Roval. But yeah, Johnson, that was just so unlike him. Like honestly, when Johnson was in the back, I was just expecting him to kind of like just roll, just kind of follow Truex on to the finish, and if there's an opening, he'll go for it because he was already locked in. Because I'm like, Johnson's not going to try and just out of nowhere just like try and like risk his playoff spot and just go for the win there. But he did the exact opposite. He did, and then he takes out Truex, and just that whole finish reminded me of the 1976 Daytona 500. Is that the right one, Jarrett? With David Pearson and Richard Petty. Just stalled on the front stretch on the final lap there. So I don't know. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I agree. That was a very un-Jimmy Johnson-like move. I was watching it because, like I said, I was watching him and Truex the whole time on that last run. I was kind of in my head. I was thinking if he can get to him, if he's within a car length of him going into the final front stretch, chicane like that, I knew he was going to hit him. I didn't think he was going to spin himself out the way he did, but I thought he's going to try a bump and run, because he knows Truex doesn't have as much to lose. And when he got through the backstretch chicane, right on his bumper, and then we saw Truex kind of drift up a little bit. He couldn't hold the bottom, and Jimmy was almost able to get his nose in there. Oh, I knew that there was going to be contact. I didn't expect Jimmy to just spin himself out. I'll give Jimmy Johnson a lot of credit because I've been a little harder on him this week because he did make a mistake and cost himself a playoff spot and cost Truex the win. But I'll give him a lot of credit. When he initially started locking up the brakes, he did a remarkable job of not just plowing through the back of Truex and completely destroying both their cars. He was able to hook that thing to the right and basically, he didn't really – I think he maybe barely touched Truex's car before they spun. So I'll give him credit for that. But it was, it was very un-Jimmy Johnson-like for him to kind of get caught up in the moment like that. Jimmy Johnson, we don't like the word points racing, but that's part of that's something he's good at, and that's why he's won so many championships. And that was a case where I think the 51 race winless streak got to his head, and he kind of just forgot about the big picture, which, some people can say, hey, that's a good thing. Some people can say, hey, it's a bad thing. I think it obviously resulted in one of the best finishes of all time, but, he is out of the playoffs, and I'm sure his sponsors and his crew are maybe rethinking that decision at the end of the day. But, I thought it presented a great storyline for us to watch.
I was really surprised, too, of how uncharacteristic that was of Johnson. I mean, I think that's probably – I'd say it's probably the first time since 2005 that we can honestly say Jimmy Johnson did something that was completely in one race, not a big picture move. And I don't think there's many other drivers that we can actually really say that of. You can probably say that Jeff Gordon was in that same tier with that kind of action. But, I mean, you've seen it with all these great drivers that, that lose out on championships and stuff. You see it in guys like Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Harvick's done it. Both Earnhardts have done it before. I feel like this was the equivalent for Jimmy Johnson of Dale Earnhardt's spin with Ricky Rudd at North Wilkesboro. I think it was in 1989, I want to say, where he ended up losing the championship by 12 points. Johnson's been so much quicker these past few weeks, and he's got good tracks coming up like Dover, like Martinsville. We could honestly, by the end of the year, be like, yeah, he should have been in the last four if he didn't make that move. Which I think that was something that and that's why I won't right away say this is like on the top 10, top 5 greatest finishes ever. Just solely not for the fact that it was because it was awesome. It was awesome. Just solely for the fact that a lot of these finishes, we don't see how great they are and what effect they have until, the end of the year, years down the line. This finish could really impact the way that people view Jimmy Johnson and his legacy for decades after he retires. Could be the difference between a 7th and 8th championship for all we know. So I like that this race was both great in the moment, great with people watching, which I think we'll get into a little later, and has the potential to be one of the most influential races of all time, which I think that's something that we haven't had in a long time. So this whole weekend just was a complete success to me.
Mm-hmm.
What's even crazier is that Blaney won at a road course. I don't know. It still blows my mind.
And that just gets lost in all of it.
Yeah, I think this is really the first one where we didn't really mention the winner at first. So I guess that's a first. So really quick, Dylan Smith, he said the link wasn't working. So we're going to actually have him call in right now. So you guys ready for that?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Let me just hold it right here, right?
As long as.
Hey, Dylan, how's it going?
What's up, guys? How y'all?
We're all good. Just want to make sure. Can you hear us?
What's up?
Yeah, I got you.
Sweet.
All right. Hold up. Don't talk, Jared. Your mic's doing a little something funny there. Hold on. Say something, Eric.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, he can hear us. All right. So we had a pretty good race this weekend and stuff. We were just talking about that. So what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, obviously the finishes were pretty awesome. I was kind of in and out of the race this weekend. I went on a little vacation with my girlfriend this weekend. We went to see our parents in Florida, so that was good. But I thought the racing was pretty good. I thought for what you wanted for the Roval, it was, a good turnout. The fans seemed like they all came out, which is what we, at the end of the day, which is what we're all trying to do, is make sure the fans are happy. The finishes were great. Instant classics, I think. I actually talked to Briscoe a little bit yesterday, and I was just like, man, I never would have thought your first Xfinity win would have came out of road course, you know what I mean? But he did a good job figuring out what he needed to do on Saturday, and then old Blaney got it done on Sunday with a little luck. So it's better to be lucky than good, I would say. So
Right.
Yeah. So,
so any questions? Right.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, what do you think? What do you think of Johnson just being kind of uncharacteristically over aggressive there?
I love it. I love what Jimmy did. I think for me, I was never a Jimmy Johnson guy. I was never a Jimmy Johnson fan. I always kind of felt, he was good or great. There's no taking away his greatness, but I always kind of wondered, how much of, that ratio was really in him. A move like that, and then his comments after, he's like, I know I could have made the next round, but I'm going for a win. And I'm like, man, that's how that guy has 7 championships. They made it look easy for a lot of their championships. They were just dominant those years. But to see him in a different position and still going for it, I thought that was awesome, and it made me a fan of Jimmy Johnson. I want him to get number 8 for sure now. I think he's a legend for sure, and deserves everything that they've had over the past years.
Yeah, I have to basically sort of agree with everything you said there and stuff. I mean, you are you do defend the playoffs and stuff, and I guess after this week it's kind of hard to go against your whole argument there, because this last week, I mean, we had a terrific nail biter towards the end there with 3 drivers in a 3-way tie and stuff, though. So what were your thoughts on just on that?
Yeah, man. I mean, we've talked. I think the 4 of us have talked at length there a couple times, especially on social media and trying to engage other people on it. This is where I'll really defend the chase format. Every sport has a playoffs, and it makes it more exciting. Does it make it tougher on the competitors? For sure. But at the end of the day, if we don't have fans in the stands or people watching on TV, then it doesn't really matter. So as the fan in me loves it, and I thought we got exactly what we needed. I think the way it's kind of laid out is good. You need 3 wild card races. So this one where we start out with Talladega, is that right?
Oh no, we start off with Dover.
Yeah, Dover, and then Talladega's the next week.
Yes. Yep.
So that which it gets hairy for the other series, because the trucks. Excuse me, getting over my allergies, but the trucks end on Talladega, so that's wild, But I think you need those races at every level, at every stage, leading up to Homestead, so that they can really shake it up if someone gets a little lucky or anything like that.
Yeah.
Eric, you got any?
I'm trying to think.
Any questions, Eric?
Yeah, I know you gave your thoughts on the Roval. You gave your thoughts a little bit on the playoff system. What do you think about kind of how it's shaken up the grid so far? You've had I think it was really interesting. I was looking today. All 4 Stewart-Haas cars have made it into the next round, and that's not too surprising. But the fact that we've only got 1 Joe Gibbs racing car, I feel like that's very surprising.
I actually was thinking about that. I think you mentioned that on Twitter earlier today, and I was trying to think about it. I'm like, damn, that's a stat right there. But I don't know, when you think about it, I I didn't really think that the Gibbs group has really had a great year. I don't know, as a whole anyway. I felt like they've had some good runs, especially of late, but they didn't have the overall speed that you just kind of expected them to have, other than outside of the 18. And then obviously the 78 doing what they do. So, you know, I thought that Eric had found something, and those guys had found something there late in the season, and I was hoping it was going to carry through. And they just kind of got caught up with Harvick at, what was it, Vegas there on that deal, and that really put them behind. Yeah. So I think if that doesn't happen, you might be looking at something different, and it might be two in the chase right now for them. So, but you know, it is what it is. But as far as the Stewart-Haas cars, they're, you know, that's what they do. They're just I feel like they're on top of their game as all year as far as a group, like a whole organization, and you can kind of see that, and it goes even into their Xfinity program. I mean, Cole's had like 6 poles this year, and they haven't been able to get that win yet, but they've had speed everywhere. They've been really consistent everywhere, and that's just kind of what they do over there. And I kind of think the playoff system plays into their hand pretty well. And they got hungry drivers over there, so that always helps too.
I want to, like, I know you're more around the sport than we are. You know, you're kind of more of an insider, I guess, than we are. How does something like so I'm hearing an echo on my end. It's kind of tripping me up. I'm having a hard time talking. But
you're good.
How does that happen for a team like Joe Gibbs Racing, where you have Kyle Busch, who's like arguably the best team in the sport this year, and then you have, you know, Hamlin, Jones, and, you know, Suarez, I know, but there's so much more. It's just such an imbalance with that team, whereas with Stewart-Haas and Penske, it feels like they all kind of go as each other go. Do you have any idea why maybe that would be happening for that team specifically?
You know, it goes in cycles, man. I mean, it really does. Because if you look back in history and you look like, you know, Hendrick and went in cycles, like they had, you know, Jimmy was really the one dominating there for a while. And before him, it was Jeff over there. And then at Stewart-Haas before, you know, Tony was the one really leading the banner. And then, you know, Newman was good, but he wasn't as good, obviously. And even, you know, in the last couple of years, Harvick has been the guy. But it takes everything. It takes a group of people, you know, like everyone pulling in the same direction as a team. And then, you know, same with the drivers. The drivers need to pull in the same direction too. So when you can lay over what works and what's fast, and you can lay it over team to team, that makes a huge difference. And I think that's probably what goes on at SHR, just knowing the people over there and how it works over there. It's a very open team and open notebook, and there's really no secrets between the teams. They work very well together, and I'm sure the other teams in the sport work well together too. I just can't speak on them because I worked there with those guys, so I kind of know how that deal operates. And if one car is good, then they're all pretty good. Now you got 4 really good drivers that all feel like they got something to prove. Whether it's Kevin just wanting to stay on top and be that big dog, or it's, you know, Almirola or Boyer, who haven't had as much success at the cup level, and they want to show that they just need the right opportunity, or whether being kind of Kurt with, you know, he's on the tail end backside of his career, and he wants to get one more championship before it's done. So it takes a lot, but, you know, having the guys at the shop, the people at the shop make it happen, because obviously you can have a great driver, and if you don't get it done at the shop, then it won't translate.
So this next question will be kind of a segue into our next topic and stuff. So this weekend, with it being the Roval and all, we saw an increase in TV and streaming ratings. So what were your thoughts on that?
I love it. I think obviously for the sport, all the way through, the more that we have that, the better. Because people will start looking at the lower series too, whether it be ARC or KNF, and wanting to know what's going on there, like where all these guys Marcus Smith and all of that. They did a good job at really drumming it up. And coincidentally, like, I think the drivers drummed it up pretty heavily too, not necessarily because they're ecstatic about the Roval, but because they're talking about how difficult it was, and everybody wants more the challenge to be higher as far as the fans. The fans want to know how hard it is. So with everyone talking about how difficult that racetrack was and seeing everyone wreck and testing, they're like, "Oh man, this is one you're gonna want to see." And I thought it held true. You had everyone wrecking in practice. Whether it was Eric or Bubba down going into 3, and then they had to move that barrier because they realized that it was going to be too tough. Or the Keselowski deal down in 1 on that restart. So there's a lot of drama all weekend, and there is a lot of excitement. So hopefully we can keep rolling with that, and keep making everything better.
I'd have to ask, after both how good the race was, the fact that this is the first race all year with like a natural progression upwards in TV ratings. Do you think or want more Rovals in the future coming up, or should we go to just different road courses? What's your take on that?
I'm kind of scared a little bit because it was awesome, and I'll continue to say that. I think it was a huge success, but that doesn't mean that I think that we need more. I also don't think that means that we need to do a street course either.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you're talking about places like Pocono, which have 2 dates, or and I don't think we should do Daytonas, because I think Daytona should continue to be Daytona, and same with Talladega. The Brickyard should still be the Brickyard. But, so when you look at it like that, or in Loudon, like Loudon, they have a road course there. If you want to change out one of your race date or one of your race dates to be a Roval, I think that's a good idea. But I don't think you should have more than so many in a season. And I do also think that if you do have them, you need to keep them in the chase somehow or some way, because that just adds to that stage deal. So if you're going to switch, and I've been saying this all year, I think that we should have the tracks on a rotation, the tracks we go to twice. There's certain tracks that should be on a rotation. We don't need to go to there every year, twice a year. I think that if you did that, it might drum up some more excitement for those fans if they know that they only can. If you're only going to get a shot to see the Cup guys or everybody there at Pocono once this year, then maybe you might lose some on the backside, but it's going to ramp up that one event, and you'll be able to put more into it. So I think that there's a happy medium, and we tend to go too far one way. Just because it's good once, sometimes we think it's going to be good forever, and that's usually not the case. So hopefully we don't go overboard with the Rovals, and we keep it circle track racing, because that's what NASCAR is. We're not F1 or kart or IndyCar, but I think it makes for some excitement when we do have those in there, especially since we took out the old configuration of like Bristol. So the road courses kind of give you that Bristol kind of feel, door to door, the beating and banging and stuff that the fans really like.
All right, so I got one last question for you here, and this is the topic we're going to talk about a little more next. The 2019 rules package was just announced yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it, and if you have, what are your thoughts?
I saw a little bit of it. I haven't really looked at it hard. But maybe you could tell me just kind of some of the highlights of it, and I could kind of give you my personal opinion on it, though.
Oh yeah, so Eric, could you do that? Did a video on it, actually.
Yeah, so they're going with a variant of the All-Star Race package. Except instead of a restrictor plate, they're using a smaller tapered spacer. They mentioned lowering the horsepower to around 550. It's basically similar to what they've been kind of testing in the Xfinity series. They're going to still have aero ducts, a larger rear spoiler to add downforce. A couple other small things, but those are the 3 big highlights. And they're going to mainly be running that at the intermediate tracks, but not all of them. They're going to run a little bit of a variant at like Pocono or at I think Atlanta and a couple other places. But for the most intermediate tracks are going to have a tapered spacer to lower horsepower, and then a bigger rear spoiler and aero ducts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, everyone, we can all speculate what it's going to do, what it's going to look like, but we really won't know until we see it on track. And it's just one of those. It's just one of those deals. Like we're constantly trying to get better and get a better product. So, sometimes, and the product we have right now on the racetrack is pretty good. I think it's pretty good racing. It's still hard to pass, but the hard part about it is you can't unlearn what you've already learned. You know what I mean? So everything that the crews and the teams have learned about air and aero, whether it's the outside of the body or underbody or inside the car, because all of that stuff matters, you're still going to apply it. It's hard to go back to that generation, 3 or what was it, 4 car or 5 car that it was that we
4.
loved, that we loved growing up. It's hard to go back to that completely because the new things are still going to be applied. So I think, the All-Star race was a good event. Obviously, and it was a lot of fun to watch. But me personally, I want, if you hit it right, then you should still be able to, drag the field. Like if you got your setup right and you got a good car and everything else, you shouldn't be able to be run down by the car that should be running 11 just because of the package. We're not. I don't want it to be Talladega, Daytona everywhere, right. But like everybody else, I do want to see I want to see more racing and more opportunities for other people to win. And it's you're asking a lot. You know what I mean? We're asking a lot out of other teams and other cars and out of NASCAR to come up with a package that allows more people to win when it takes money and technology to win and having a good driver. So it's a hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. I wouldn't really want to be in that position to make those calls, and it's easy for us to sit back and be like, less spoiler, more engine, harder tire, or softer tire, make it wear out. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be, and now make the racing better. Well, it might, and I'm not saying that those things aren't good because I kind of am more on that side of things, but this might work too. So until we really see it, I'm going to try and keep my, at least be optimistic for it. I was optimistic about the car tomorrow too, and that I didn't really like that at the end of the day. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, it was great to have you on the show again, man. And hopefully we'll have you on again for season 2.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. You guys do a good job. The more the more I stay in touch and up to date with what you guys are doing, the more I like it, the more I appreciate it. So I'm definitely looking forward to coming back with you guys later on.
All right, man. You have a good one. Talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
So, yeah.
Bye-bye.
It's always fun talking with Dylan.
Guys.
Yeah,
it's always fun talking with him. I wanted to get him on the Hangout so bad, but unfortunately the link was kind of messing up on him a little bit. So up next we'll have Real Radman on just in time as we're going to get our opinions on the panel about the 2019 rules package. So Jarrett, we've talked about this over DMs and stuff. So why don't you tell him what you told me?
Ain't no likey this package. That to say the least. I guess, okay, for both you guys, the reason I was so angry was it literally I worked night shift, and that was the first thing I saw when I woke up. So I was like, I was not in a good place. Let's just say that.
Can understand.
A day removed. I will not say I'm as angry or as negative as I was having just woke up, but I do not trust NASCAR at all. I trusted them in 2007. I trusted them in 2012 after we had a really good year in 2011. And wow, hey, I hear myself. And
sorry about that. Just getting the comments.
Anyway, I trusted them with the Gen 6. I'm not making that mistake again, because this is basically with all these changes, it basically is a new car. I mean, we've had a tapered spacer for a while, but it's basically a restrictor plate. I mean, if you look at a picture of a restrictor plate and a tapered spacer, the tapered spacer is just a little more thick, and not in a good way. I'm
glad you can still laugh about things.
Yes, it's still me. I have to make a joke about it. It's how I hide my pain. I'm the Chandler Bing of the podcast. No, but I don't think this is the right way to go. I know that. And what I find interesting is how the manufacturers were saying that a higher horsepower engine costs more. They don't want that. Yet these same manufacturers, especially like Chevrolet, is involved in, like, I think it was IndyCar, is increasing their horsepower in their engines. And I know that those cars cost a lot less than Cup cars do. So I don't know. I think there's more reason to this than we're giving it credit. But I also think that I don't think we should look at Gen 7 towards this great salvation, because they've been going in this direction since 2014. So, I mean, granted, they've put more downforce on it, but when it comes to reducing the horsepower, they've sort of just since 2014 gone in this direction. And hey, we're joined by someone new.
Yeah, how's it going, Radman?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good. What's your
opinion? So yeah, we were just talking about the 2019 rules package, and you kind of already said it on Twitter, but for those who don't know, what do you think?
I'll jump right into it. By the way, hey guys, I know I've talked to you guys in a while, so glad to be back. 2019 package. Okay, so when did it happen? Over the summer, I was at home. I wasn't in college. I came back during the semester, and during the summer, I had this. Basically, I got tired of being negative. Let's put it that way. I got tired of it. I got tired of saying the same stuff. I got tired of. I knew I believed in what I was saying. I just got tired of saying it. I got tired of keep saying it. I got tired of making multiple videos on it, and so I kind of changed my outlook on life and everything. So I just changed it. So I've been way positive, way more. Like, as you guys can tell, I'm not making videos that are just straight up bashing NASCAR. Like, if I make a video on the package, I'm talking about the package. I'm not saying the package is crap. Same thing with tracks or whatever the heck they do. So when this was coming out, I think it was rumored a few weeks or a month ago, and I knew. I've watched the sport my entire life. I kind of know where things head. So, like, you're gonna see Truex in the 19. You're probably gonna see Suarez at SHR. Like, you're gonna see those things. Like, you don't have to wait for it to be confirmed. So you knew, like, 550 horsepower was gonna come. So I had plenty of time to, like, digest it and think about it and say, like, okay, what is this gonna be like? If I wasn't expecting them to take the aero ducts off at certain tracks, because they you should have known, but like I should have known, but you need brake cooling. So when you go to Atlanta and Darlington, you need brake ducts, and you can't add the aero ducts for those tracks. So that's why they have it off there. I should have known that, but I didn't. And so obviously I'm not a fan, but it's what are you gonna do until the new car comes? What are you gonna do? There's nothing you can do. So I'm more worried about getting an idea for what their vision is, because what worries me is back in 2015 when the low downforce package came along, you could, like, look it up from Steve O'Donnell. He said, we want to put it in the driver's hands, we want the driver to control it, and that was low downforce. 2018, same quotes by Steve O'Donnell, we want the driver's skill to show, and it's the exact opposite. So this is the stuff that angers me. Now, that's not being negative, that's just being like, listen, I'm giving you a chance. Please tell me the truth. Please tell me a vision you have. Please tell me what you're going to do for the future. And when I mean future, I mean that specific car that he talks about, but they don't give a lot of details on. And so if you want NASCAR to be entertainment, and you want it to be pack racing, and you want, well, not pack, but you want it to be closer together, kind of like the truck series, and you want it to be like that, and you want the entertainment side stages, artificial cautions with the stages, and green white checkers, and crazy wrecks at the end of the races and stuff like that, then say it. Like WWE doesn't hide anymore that they're an entertainment business. So like it's that's my whole opinion on it. I will still look at NASCAR always as a sport. I think the driving side of everything is insanely hard. I still watch races today from 2001 to 2004, and just marvel at the talent that it takes to drive those cars. And I know you'll never get back to those days. You'll never get back to those packages because of what teams have learned. But there's a way to do it, and there's a way to like. If you work hard at it, you can get back to it. But the first thing is you just got to communicate with the fan base, and if that happens, then that happens. So we'll see how everything goes. I don't think next season is going to be all that special. I think the package will fail, mainly because you can go full throttle for a few laps, and then once you get off the throttle, that's just going to hurt it even worse. So you'll be in a pack for like 2-3 laps, and then it'll start separating. And the car is not different in terms of combating dirty air. So I don't think you're going to see anything different. And you're still going to have a dominant car, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's always been a dominant car, but you're still going to have dominant cars. You're still going to have guys who have 8, 9, 10 wins in the season. That's all going to be the same. It's just going to be the cars are going to be slower. They'll be a little bit different to drive. I think they'll be a little bit easier to drive as long as you're not on a track like a repaved Kentucky that has really fresh asphalt and like you get sideways a little bit and you wreck. I think they'll be easier to drive, and that's it. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But I'm not gonna be negative on it. Like I'm not gonna be like I hate NASCAR. Do this, do that. I'm gonna wait till they see till they communicate Gen 7 details, and if that is the right direction, then I know it's a Band-Aid for now, and hopefully they are going in the right direction in that car.
Yeah, I like what you said right there, and I like that you said it in your video, I guess yesterday, how this is basically like a Band-Aid on the current situation. Whenever they introduced the Gen 6 car in 2013 with the body the way it is, they kind of, since then, there's only been so much they can do to really tweak the racing. And I think you're right. This is a Band-Aid until hopefully in 2021 or 2022, whenever we get a Gen 7 car, they can make serious changes to it and really overhaul the type of racing we see. I'm pretty positive on my outlook as well in this package. I think I'm more positive than most people, just because I'm excited to see something new at intermediate tracks. I think, and I said this in my video, I don't think anyone really looks forward to intermediate races these days. There are very few intermediate tracks that we look forward to. I know this year has seen a couple intermediate tracks have better races than usual. I would say Texas did, Chicagoland obviously did, and depending on who you ask, Las Vegas a few weeks ago did. But still consistently, nobody looks forward to Kansas. Nobody looks forward to current Kentucky or even Las Vegas on a typical race weekend. So I'm glad that NASCAR is at least trying something with what they have. A lot of people want NASCAR to make a lot of drastic changes like right now, and they're very limited in what they can do. They have to answer to a lot of different people. They obviously have a car they're basically stuck with for at least the next 2 or 3 years. There's not a lot that they can do. They can't change the schedule dramatically. They added the Roval, which is about the most they could do, and it was a success, at least as far as I think most fans are concerned. So I'm with you. I think it's all about waiting to see when they eventually start talking about the Gen 7 car and start giving out some specific details on that. That's when I think as a fan base we can collectively decide whether or not we're for or against what NASCAR is trying to do. Right now, I just look at the All-Star race, which I know is going to be significantly different than what this package is actually going to look like. But that was a decent race. The Indy Xfinity race is a decent race. I know I didn't see Pocono, but I know Pocono wasn't, as a lot of people were a little more split on Pocono, and I can't remember the other track they ran it.
Michigan, I think.
Michigan, yeah, that sounds right.
Michigan.
And so I know a lot of fans are split, and I think depending on the track, it will run better than others. I'm just glad they're trying something new because, like I said, nobody looks forward to intermediate tracks the way they are now. And I think, it is what it is. It's likely going to be temporary. I say likely. Obviously, the 2020. If this package blows up, I'm not saying it will, but if for some reason NASCAR suddenly starts gaining in viewership by some weird miracle the next couple of years, then unfortunately maybe that's what the 2022 Gen 7 car will look like. But for now, it seems like it's temporary, and I guess I'm just going to kind of withhold permanent judgment on the sanctioning body until we start hearing about the Gen 7 car. Like I can judge the current package, and you said you think it'll fail. I tend to think it will basically fans will feel about the same way about that package as they feel about this current package. I think at the end of the day, you're still going to have about half the fan base saying that, oh, it's fine, nothing needs to change, and the other half are going to be saying, oh, the racing sucks. It'll just be for different reasons, I think. But I'd say I'd probably lean more towards, I think I'm going to enjoy it personally. I think I'm going to like the intermediate racing slightly better than I do now, but that's just an opinion thing. It's just everyone's going to be different there. But yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think the
again,
biggest issue
Oh,
is like I'll just quickly say one thing. I just think the biggest issue is
Alright.
the drivers aren't on board. Like the drivers are not on board with it. They're only saying that they're on board if the best car and team win, then they'll do it. But Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, a lot of guys are not pleased with where it's going. So that's a little bit worrying. Failure to me is not improving on what you were. So I don't think it's going to be an improvement. I mean, I think like Chicagoland was great. There have been a few races that I've seen guys been able to make passes, and I don't really know where that's come from, but that's better. So we'll see what the new package is. For me, like success rate is all right. You gotta give me some good races here, and failure is if it's the same, that's a failure to me. Like we're just kind of at the
That's
same
fair.
things, Like half the
Yeah.
fans still hate it. We're not gonna get anywhere with it. So we have to get the fans to like it.
Yeah.
And it's a very big change on the driving style. So we'll just see how it goes. My biggest worry is tire wear, and when they have to start letting off the throttle, I don't know what the package will do then. That's my biggest worry. Might
Mhm.
even be better if they stayed full throttle the entire time because you get more excitement. But I don't know what happens when the tires start wearing and that happens. That's something we've never seen. We don't know what it's going to look like. They put trust in it to put it in effect because we don't know what 550 horsepower does. So it'll be very interesting. Go ahead, Darian. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, that's cool. I interrupt these two all the time, so it's fine. But you also brought up a good point in your upload yesterday, Radman. You said this is more of a money decision than it is a racing decision, I think, because, going from 750 horsepower to 550 and 440 at some tracks. I can't remember which ones, but that's what it said. I think it was just for the All-Star race. But Jeff Gluck on Twitter even said that other manufacturers are interested in coming into the sport, like including Dodge again. Like having Dodge in NASCAR, that'd be great, but it's just way too expensive to provide these 750 horsepower engines and stuff. So do you think they basically cut it down to 550, not only to save money, but to also say like, hey, manufacturers, like you guys can like come into NASCAR now. I mean, it's a lot cheaper. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Oh, you want me to go first, guys? Or Jared, you want to go?
Go for it. No, it's full.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead,
Well,
Ryan.
it's still a 900 horsepower engine. It's just the tapered spacer cuts it off to 750 right now. So I think that's where the manufacturers are still struggling with it. I'm not an engineer myself, so I don't know how much it costs to make those engines. From what Gluck was saying was that it's just the technology within those engines just costs a little bit too much, and also it doesn't relate to anything that the manufacturers are selling to currently, which is a big issue. Which is why, as he said in Formula E, electronic, the future maybe like. That's why those other manufacturers are going in. So, I wouldn't. I guess I didn't want to word it that way. It was a money decision. They are. I don't think racing is 100% their focus, which is my disappointment. I think racing has to be their focus. Manufacturers do have all the money though. That's where it is. You've seen what Toyota's been doing. I mean, they've been dropping insane amounts of money into the sport, and the sport needs it. So anything that can make them happy and bring in new manufacturers can help. Is it the best for racing decisions? I don't know, but it's also again something for the future. My biggest hope for Gen 7 is that there's a smaller engine. You've heard Dale Jr. talk about it. You've heard a few other guys talk about it. Is you can put power in it, but let's say take your I'm trying to think of a Dodge car. What's a powerful Dodge car with like a powerful engine?
Like a Challenger or something.
Let's take a
Yeah.
Challenger, 550 horsepower, right? Small engine, not like 8 cylinders or something. I don't know. I don't know much about engines. I probably have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But basically, a smaller engine, and it would relate more to a stock car that is being sold right now by a Dodge dealership. That's something I think they might be looking at. So maybe they're like, hey, let's try 550 with a tapered spacer, while we continue to work on this other engine package we haven't told anyone about, and it's a smaller engine in this car, and I'm hoping that's what they're doing. But I have no idea. So that's my biggest hope for it. But I think the days of 900 horsepower engines, I think that's probably, we're not going to be seeing that anymore. It's just too much money and it doesn't relate.
Yeah, I think you're right. Or I'll let Jared go. Jared hasn't spoken in a while.
Well, okay.
I didn't have much to say.
I was, and maybe part of this, I watched like all the different videos, and I watched, and I knew about this before, but I watched David Land's video, and he talked about how NASCAR is kind of odd because every other racing series is adding horsepower right now. You know, Formula One is adding horsepower. Indy cars are adding horsepower. Like I think they're going up to like 900 horsepower engines. I just find it odd that the manufacturers right now, some of whom are involved in other series that are adding horsepower to be way more than NASCAR, are also the same ones wanting less in NASCAR. And I think that it's how they've, I think, laid out the cars at this point. I think it's either that or there's something else that is behind the scenes they're not talking about, something that some people don't want to change or whatnot. I do find it really funny what Steve O'Donnell said about like, oh, we'll dispel the myth, we're not going for pack racing. And then Nick Bromberg brought up, it's like, oh, look, the former CEO made up the myth back in 2015. And it's like an interview with Brian France being like, we want closer racing. We want it to be like pack racing every week. And it's like, oh, well, he's not involved anymore, but he's only been gone for like a month. So obviously he has been involved in it at some point, whether he's a puppet or not at the time doesn't matter. He's still involved with the sport. I don't know. I find it concerning. If it adds more manufacturers and if it helps the sport, I am more than happy to be wrong. But right now, I do see this as a concerningly wrong direction. And I think that the bigger and bigger swings they go at it with, trying to hit 5, 6, 7 run homers, it shows a lot of desperation. It shows, I think, where the mind of the sanctioning body is at right now, especially seeing how they're 4 years now. Is this the 4th year of the contract they're in? So they're about the halfway point of the TV contract. This is when they're going to have to start thinking about what's next, the preliminary actions with that. So I don't know. I think I see this more concerning than most fans. I think most fans just see it as, oh my God, they're trying to make it packs only. I don't think that's exactly what they're doing, but I do think this is a concerning move right now with the sport.
I think the money is I think you guys are all right. This is more of a money decision than a racing decision. And, to answer the question, or at least my hypothesis, is that the right word, for why, other racing series are upping the engine power and NASCAR is not, is I think NASCAR is sort of in terms of actual technology, NASCAR still feels antiquated compared to F1 or Formula E or something like that. And I think the idea that Formula E is so like cutting edge, or Formula One is so cutting edge, is very, inviting to new manufacturers because they want to brand themselves as cutting edge. NASCAR is very American, raw power, force. And like in this changing age, however you want to say it, the focus is more on fuel efficiency and things like that. And NASCAR has never been for that. They've been like, nah, screw that. We want like power, like all that type of stuff. And so I don't think it's sexy for manufacturers, modern day manufacturers, to invest in NASCAR, especially with, if they're running a 900 horsepower, just a behemoth of an engine like that. But yeah, I think this is a technical, the technical and the not the technical, what am I saying? The financial side of this is what this decision was primarily made for. And I think it's interesting how fans have now, for at least the last few months, especially since Furniture Row announced that they're shutting down, fans have been screaming at NASCAR that they need to lower costs. And this is maybe not the best way to do it, but this is a way to do it. And I'm excited for the possibility that this could lead to more manufacturers getting in the sport. Who knows if it will? It probably won't in the next 2 or 3 years, but I think their plan is to experiment with a lower horsepower type of engine by using the tapered spacer, so that for the Gen 7 car, they can then just build an engine at about that size, or at that, with that amount of horsepower, and that will be inviting to new manufacturers. And I'm excited if that is the case, and hopefully that does work. I'll be optimistic in that sense. Maybe I'm optimistic for no reason. Maybe this is very naive of me to think, but I am optimistic. NASCAR has had 3-4 different manufacturers in the sport at the same time. We've seen Dodge has left, but they could easily come back. So I'm optimistic in that sense, because manufacturers are where most of the money comes from. I think like part of the reason I'm okay with this, and I talked about how I want NASCAR to change, or I don't necessarily want NASCAR to change, but I want NASCAR to try to innovate itself for the modern era. I don't want to change the subject too much, but part of my my thought process there is I think NASCAR's run this same type of racing, specifically at intermediate tracks, now for the better part of a decade. It's been similar. If you want to talk specifics, it's been very similar the last 5 years or so. And the viewership has consistently gone down. Like the ratings, if we want to talk about TV ratings again, they've gone down. And I think at some point NASCAR does have to, you talk about them making desperation moves. That's one way to look at it. But I do think at some point NASCAR does have to start taking big swings at the on-track product. And I just think old school racing is not appealing to the new, to modern day audiences. NASCAR struggles compared to other major sports in the 18 to 49 age demographic. It's not as prevalent as most other sports are. And I think that's because NASCAR, it's still, a 4-hour afternoon half the time. If you're going to the race, it's an all day event. And, you look at sports that are popular these days. F1's popular because races are done in an hour and a half. NBA, college basketball games are done in 2 hours. Baseball is desperately trying to get their races down under 3 hours. It's all about modernizing your sport for the modern media age, and NASCAR hasn't done that at all. It's still a race that if you're going to really get the most out of this race, you have to invest 3 to 4 hours of your afternoon into it. And I think, that's just something that people can't do these days. And if they flip to the channel, if we're going to keep the link the same, and you flip to the NASCAR channel and you see close side-by-side racing, you don't know how it got there necessarily, but you're just going to see this close side-by-side racing. You maybe don't know the full story, but I'm convinced that will cause some people to keep stay on that channel and give it a little bit more of a watch. I think NASCAR is going to have to modernize itself in a sense, just from a viewership standpoint, not talking about technology, not talking about competition, literally just talking about what's appealing for the modern viewer. And right now, 20-year-olds, I have never met, other than you guys, I've never met another 20-year-old that is remotely interested in NASCAR. And I've lived in 2 major cities. I mean, I've lived in 2 of the 10 biggest cities in America, and I've never met another NASCAR fan my age. And I just think that's something that's going to have to change. And I don't know if this package is the way to do that, but that's why I'm optimistic. I think I'm just optimistic because they're trying something so different than what we've seen that anything could happen. It could be a total failure or it could be a total success. And I don't really think it'll be either. I think it'll still be somewhere in the middle, which will be kind of disappointing. But I'm at least excited that they're trying it. So.
And to add to what you just said, so my roommate Matt, who I watched the race with, he doesn't watch NASCAR. He watched that entire Roval race from start to finish, and he was like, "Dude, that was awesome. That was the best racing." He's like, "Why don't they race at road courses, and why is it not like this close every single week?" And I had to explain to him like, "Oh, because of their aero package and stuff." And he says, "But and he asked like, so they're gonna try and make it like that?" And I was like, basically, yeah, they're gonna try and sort of make it closer together. And he was like, "Dude, if it's like that every single week, then I'd watch every week." So I guess that's sort of what NASCAR is trying to aim for: people who have no interest in motorsports, but like if they see like, oh, this is good racing, like, oh, it's really close, like no matter how you got there, then they'll stay and watch.
And my last quick thing, and then I'll shut up. I think people hate it when NASCAR people say, "Oh, we want to cater to the casual fan. We want to go after the casual racing fan." People hate it when you say that. And I guess maybe I'm wrong. This is an opinion, but I'm a firm believer that at some point NASCAR is going to have to branch out into new audiences. They can't continue to rely on the same type of people to watch their sport, because the same type of people the type of person that watched NASCAR in the 90s doesn't exist today. The way, at least it's not as prevalent. There's not as many of those types of people in America these days. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm like I don't consider myself like an overly progressive person in my day-to-day life, but maybe I'm like now the most like far left NASCAR fan there is. And I don't want to be that guy, but sometimes that's how I feel. And I don't know. I guess that's not probably entirely right or wrong, but anyway, sorry, I'll shut up. I've been talking too much.
No, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
Got something to say it. No, but I think one of the things, and I said it in my video recently, was I think yesterday or whatever, but one of the things that people neglect to look at is scheduling. I think that scheduling can make some of the worst tracks on the schedule, some of the absolute best. I mean, you look at Vegas has run the same race in the same kind of weather now for 20 years.
Yeah.
The racing's been pretty much the same. It hasn't been the greatest. There's been some pretty good ones. I'm not going to say there haven't been, but then you look at Chicagoland. Chicagoland used to have for back then when it was run with the Gen 4 car, not the best racing, but it wasn't exactly horrible. And then once they moved it to September, I can just tell you right now, living in Illinois, moving a race to September, especially the middle towards the end of September, is not a good move for weather. You're not going to have it where it's like today it was like in the 80s here. It's usually going to be in the 60s, the 50s. Whereas this past year's race with this awesome race, this awesome finish, better racing than usual, has been run in high 90s, even breaking 100 degrees. I think for that reason, and then also the reason of those casual fans, as if we're going to keep calling them that, but people who don't watch the sport, if they're going to flip it on, the races we have in the summer are bad. Like Pocono, we have 2 Pocono races in the summer. We used to have Indianapolis. Sure, we have races like Watkins Glen or the Bristol Night Race, but a lot of them are absolute duds. My friend, she tried watching a race this year. She picked the absolute worst one to watch, Pocono. She doesn't want to watch another race.
Oh, God.
She texts me, I'm watching a race. It's kind of boring, though. It's like, well, they're at Pocono. I'm like, why watch the race next week at Watkins Glen? But that's the thing, is that when there's more of these fans that are going to be able to watch it, we have a lot of these races that aren't the greatest. We got Pocono, we got New Hampshire, Kentucky. Whereas during football season and during the end of the school year, March Madness, whatever, that's when we have the Daytona 500. We have, which I say we don't move that, but that's when we have Talladega. That's when we have Bristol, Martinsville, all these races that would hook fans in. We have when other stuff is on or when people are busy, but the races we have on when, a lot of Sunday afternoons in the summer, people will stay home. And we have races like, even Michigan has turned bad, and since the repave. So I think that scheduling is something that NASCAR needs to look a lot more into. I know they can't with the current contract, but I think coming up they need to look between weather, racing, and what fans show up for. As much as we want more short tracks, TV ratings show that fans do not watch short tracks as much unless it's the Bristol Night Race. They have to look at all those things. I really think that scheduling would fix a lot of the problems in the sport. Granted, the racing product has to be improved, the package has to be improved, but I mean, scheduling is right up there with those ones. I don't know if you guys might agree or disagree on that with me.
Oh, no. Yeah, I agree with you there. Absolutely, 100%.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and I think a lot of them have kind of equal weight. Like I think schedules and equal weight to the car being a problem. I think lack of driver personality is another one. And I think they're all kind of an equal piece of this big collective everything that's wrong with NASCAR pie that we've all been eating for 5-6 years.
So by the way, guys, so by the way, guys, make sure to lick the like button. The last time I checked, we only had 61 likes and 185 people were watching. So make sure to lick that. Also, so now that we're moving on, some history was made on Saturday.
Oh, really quick, can we talk about baseball races?
Yeah, I didn't even notice I said that. I was in such a zone, and then everyone in the chat reminded me. My bad. You guys should raise your hand and be like, "Hey, dumbass." No,
we just saw in the chat all that start coming up, and then Carnation clip it. So
of course.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Dang it.
Anyway, history. We should talk about.
So, anyways, history was made on Saturday in Idaho. 17-year-old Hailey Deegan pulled off a little bump and run move against what's his name? Cole. What was his name?
Cole Rouse.
Cole Rouse. I was about to say Cole Sprouse, but that's the actor. Cole Rouse.
I thought that's what you did say. I was like, what? Who?
I was like, no. So Cole Rouse, on Cole Rouse, and got her first career Canyon West Series win, becoming the first female to do so. And I tweeted this out from a stats perspective. It wasn't that much of a surprise. She was running consistent all year, has an average finish of 7.9, and I made a video about it. But what was kind of funny is I was at the last race. She had raced on dirt, and she finished second. And I was kind of thinking to myself, watch her win next week, like the next race. And what does she do? She wins the next race. So there's that. And so what do you guys think?
Should I go first?
Yeah,
go ahead, Radman.
Go first.
I feel like I'm the one that talked about Hailey Deegan the first. So, way back, I was one of those. I was like,
Yeah,
this one's
I
gonna be
talked
good.
about Decker the same time, and look how that
Yeah,
turned out.
I kept
So.
telling you, nah, fam, it's not Decker. It's not Decker. Please trust me, it's not Decker. I'm gonna be careful like what I say because I know you people in the chat will take whatever I say and spew it very, very, very wrongly.
You just have to watch out for Carnation.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very careful what I say here. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm still Darian. You know, I remember I told you like I wanted to make that video on Hailey Deegan. I still haven't done it. It's because I'm just waiting.
No,
Very
actually, I
patient.
was gonna DM you like when the same day you upload yours about Hailey Deegan, I'll do the same thing the same video about Decker and how she is nowhere near ready. Like it'll kind of be the opposite of yours. Like it'll be the opposite of yours. You'll probably explain, "Oh, Deegan's totally ready." Decker, no, we need to revisit her for a second.
Yeah, I'm not hating on Decker. I'm just his talents.
Oh no,
Yeah,
but
it's just,
compared to Deegan, it's nowhere close. And
yeah.
also
Well,
Deegan,
compared to a
I
lot
don't.
of drivers, I mean, it's nowhere close.
Oh, also, really quick, you'll find this funny. I don't know. Did you hear what I said? What Deegan told me about
No,
Decker?
no, I
Okay, so
didn't.
I was at the Star Nursery 100, the Las Vegas race, and I was taking Deegan back to her car after she did media stuff, and I asked her what were her thoughts on Decker, and she said, the usual answers. Well, I hope she moves up and all that stuff. It'd be cool to have another female racing with me and stuff. But she also called her personality odd. So I also thought that was just really funny.
Uh, Starbucks white girl, I mean, like I should be careful. I don't want to be rude. It's
Yeah.
I don't want to judge her. She's probably a really nice person. It's just I don't
Yeah.
think she has driving ability. It's just that simple. I mean, I'm
Right.
not gonna attack her personality. But yeah, I mean, Haley's really nice. That's surprising that she said that.
Yeah, I
'Cause
know.
yeah,
Like
Haley's really nice.
I didn't even ask that. She was just like straight. I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's weird. No, but I mean, uh, yeah, that's weird. But to Deegan, that's cool that you were able to like talk with her. That's good. I mean, I'd love to meet Hailey Deegan and just talk to her about racing, and especially I'd love to talk with her parents because I think Brian and I forgot his wife's name, but Brian and her mom are well, Brian and Haley's mom is doing a fantastic job raising her and giving her everything she needs without giving her too much. Like we're not gonna give you everything. You have to work for things, but
I get the feeling that she's not going to be rushed. Like they're not
no,
just
she
here to
won't.
like make a buck off of her and stuff. Kind of
Yeah.
like what Danica did with her career and stuff. I get the feeling that she's just about racing and her family wants it to stay that way.
Oh yeah. That's why I'm very excited. I mean, when we're talking about issues with the sport, like you guys, she can fix so many issues. It's crazy what she can do. Like in terms of just bringing in a new audience, and I mean, it's not just that she's a very good personality, very nice person, good head on her shoulders, and I'm hoping she just takes her time. And what impresses me the most, so like I like to look at like just even young athletes in other sports. Like I don't know if you guys know who Kylian Mbappe is in soccer at PSG. Won the World Cup with France.
I don't watch soccer. I don't watch
Well,
soccer.
he won the World Cup with France, and 2 years ago when he was at Monaco and no one knew him, I looked at him and I was like, this guy is gonna be good. And then 2 years later he wins the World Cup. So I like that feeling. Like I could see before anyone else sees the talent. So I try to do that with drivers too. And it's I feel like with driving it's not if you can put someone like say De Benedetto or Chastain, you can see what they do in lower equipment. Deegan is just experience. She has no experience on asphalt, like none. She everything she learned was on dirt, and in her first year, and yeah, she's in a good car. I mean, her teammates are also winning races, but in her first year, she's not constantly finishing last amongst her teammates. She's racing with her teammates. She then beat her teammates all in a season of 12, 13 races maybe.
They've
Yeah,
ran
that's
12 so far.
12. That's an insane learning curve from the first race to the last race that quickly. 12 races to be winning a race. So but like I said, the reason why I'm not talking about her a lot, and the reason why, I mean, everyone else is, so that we don't gotta worry about that. But I'm backing off and letting her grow up, mature, get into the win a K&N championship, maybe get a ride in another series, then continue to build, and see where your talent takes you. And her father is gonna do a good job of taking care of her and providing her what she needs and all that. And I don't think her personality is going to go away anytime soon. She's great with the fans. And great with the little girls that want to meet her, and so was Danica. Danica was great with that too. I just think Danica missed. She lost touch with the base, I guess.
Mhm.
A lot of the base fans just didn't like her because of personality or other things. So I'm very excited for Hailey Deegan. Congratulations to her on her first win. And yeah, I mean, just we'll see what she does from here on out.
Oh, and also, I just want to say one more thing before either Jarrett or Eric speak. There were some fans on Twitter who were like, "Yeah, she had to wreck to win." That was not. She did not
No.
jump him. It was a basic bump and run. So
Actually,
you
what
guys
she
need to
did,
doubt that.
was more impressive. Because usually, like the bump and run is in the rear bumper. And once you hit someone in the left rear, like it's actually.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she hit him in the left rear, and that's
Yeah.
usually wrecks someone. But she did it in a way where she didn't overdrive the corner. She just gave him a little tap, the slightest of taps in the left rear, and it didn't spin him out and moved him up the track enough. And that's something you have to learn. Like that, if she would have wrecked him and misjudged that tap, overdrove the corner just a little bit more, and we're talking like a difference in 2 miles per hour, hit him in the left rear, that might turn him, and then the win is tainted. But the fact that she did what she did, very impressive. Very so. That's a good racing move. I'm pretty sure Cole would tell you the same thing. No one likes to get bumped and runs, but when it happens to you and it happens in a clean way, like a clean bump and run, then you just gotta be like, damn, good job, and go
I
on
think
with
he
it.
even agreed on Twitter because she quoted someone's tweet. That's why when I saw, I'm like, come on, like you guys like call yourselves racing fans and you can't tell the difference between a dump and a bump and run. Like, come on.
Yeah, it was a good move. It was a really good move, and I think everyone saw that. So.
Well, and I liked what you're saying about how you don't think she'll be rushed, and that's what I like is that her dad, in my opinion, has managed her career quite well. And I don't know what her mom does behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure she probably does a lot.
She was cursing a lot on the Instagram live when she won. She was like, "Oh my effing god! Oh my effing Brian! Oh my god!" And yeah, that was pretty fun to see like the excitement from them. But I was like, "My God, there's kids watching! Please."
I'm assuming her mom has a role in like helping them out with the whole with the family YouTube channel that has like 200,000
probably
subs.
the business side of it, but
I have no idea.
with that, it's like I think that she has the opportunity to do what I don't think a driver since really Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, one of those drivers. And I'm not saying that she's on that level yet. She has a lot to prove, but she has the opportunity to do what those kind of drivers did. Is that she's already breaking in mainstream. Like there, she's on shows like Ridiculousness. She's on, and I know Chase Elliott was too, but you don't really hear
Chase
about
Elliott.
Yeah, and you don't really hear about like Chase Elliott going on to different mainstream news shows and talking racing and whatnot. And I think that with her career being managed as well as it has, and for her, she's not going to get rushed up. She's not going to be rushed up and be 18 years old in Cup like a Joey Logano was. I think that's unintentionally going to have one of the best things possible for her career in NASCAR as a whole. Is it's going to build up hype. For the next year she's in K&N, and then for probably the next 5 or 6 years, moving up, and maybe it might be a little less. That is going to build up more and more hype to the fact that when she finally does make that first Cup start, hopefully, there's going to be so much behind that. There's going to be years of anticipation behind that. I think it would be something that would break a mainstream and ESPN, go on to news and whatnot. So I really think that she is something special, and I'm glad that we're able to watch her right now and hopefully see the start of a star being born. That's something that I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to see her moving forward like this.
Yeah, I'm excited for her, and her winning this race is great just because it already was like a national news story. I swear I've seen her interviewed more this week than Ryan Blaney. So I my only fear, and I've said this, I still fear she's being slightly overhyped because we talk about all this thing, but we still talk about how it's going to be 5 years down the road or so until she's in, probably 3 or 4 until she's in Xfinity, maybe 5 until she gets to Cup Series. And when I say overhyped, I don't mean she's not good. She's obviously really good, but I'm just worried that we're talking 4 or 5 years down the line. That's a lot can happen, and you never know. she clearly is good. I think she's going to be a Cup Series driver. And if you ask me, I think she's going to win races. I think she's going to be great for the sport. But there's a small, and I think I'm gun shy after Danica Patrick's career, which is totally unfair to compare Hailey Deegan to Danica Patrick, but you have to because Danica was I guess technically she's like the most successful female in NASCAR history.
Yeah,
and Hailey Deegan has the potential to be that.
Yeah, I wanted to say something really quick too. I never mentioned Danica in any of the videos where I talk about Deegan and Decker because once again, Danica was an open wheel driver. While these two are strictly stock car drivers. So I just wanted to say that.
And I think that's what I mean. I think that is very important. That's why you really can't compare them. But I mean, you end up having to compare. She's going to get that comparison forever because Danica, at least up to now, is the most successful female in NASCAR history. And I worry that she's overhyped because I mean, you guys are talking. I think it was you just said, Jarrett. She's getting this media attention before she's even in Cup Series, the same way Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Tony Stewart or Jeff Gordon did. Those are Hall of Famers we're talking about right there. Am I ready to say Hailey Deegan's going to be a Hall of Famer? No, I'm not ready to say that. She definitely could be, and I wouldn't be shocked if she was. But I just, I get that NASCAR fans are so hungry for a fresh, a new type of driver, a new person to attract a whole new type of fan base into the sport. I know we're all super excited for that to happen, but I just want us to try to maintain a sense of realism because it's going to be 3 to 4 years before we really see her running on a national touring series, where we actually get to watch her on Fox and ESPN or whatever on a weekly basis. Until then, she's going to be on the short track scene, probably winning a lot of races, probably looking really good and working her way up. But it's a long time. It's 3-4 years. You never know. An 18-year-old Joey Logano could pop up in the scene and steal a ride that she was maybe going to one day get. And we all know that racing's half of it at least is what type of car you're driving. And at least I think until she gets into Xfinity Cup, she's going to be in top rides. But you never know. I mean, Ryan Preece is having to go to the 47 car, and Ross Chastain didn't have a good ride for most of this year, and we clearly can see that they're very talented. So the most deserving drivers don't always get the best opportunities. So that's my only fear, and I'm still very excited for her.
She'll get the opportunity. She brings in too much money. She'll get
it.
Probably.
And what's crazy is that this hype was already big before she won, but after it's insane. Some of the comments I got on my video, oh, she's the next big thing, move her up next year. By the way, I did not know that there was an age limit in trucks. So I was saying, no, she shouldn't move up to the trucks next year and stuff. She can't even run full time next year. Even if she wanted to, because she's not old enough either. I didn't know that there was an age limit.
Stick to K&N. She's
exactly.
Well. Yeah. But also, I think the hype is cool, she's getting all the mainstream media, but I just look at it from a talent perspective. She has a talent. I've seen it. I don't really have to see more because I know what she can do now on asphalt that she's already done on dirt. There's a reason they call her the Dirt Princess. She's really good on dirt, and especially in well, I don't know what NASCAR's aero package or how the cars will drive 6 years from now, but if they're loose and then you gotta slide them around, it plays into her hands.
Wait, so that's her actual nickname, the Dirt Princess.
Dirt Princess. They call her Dirt Princess. Yeah,
sounds like a video game.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Dirt Princess.
Is there T-shirts where that say that too? Or
no, I should release some shirts if she wants to make one. I don't know if the Deegan family has that copyrighted or anything, but I've seen that there's a few articles calling her Dirt Princess.
I've heard it.
It's called Dirt Princess. That's what she's called.
I didn't know that. I just thought that I didn't know that that was her actual nickname. I thought only 1 or 2 people have said that, but
no, and that experience with the I keep forgetting. I think it's Stadium Trucks. I don't know the exact name of what the dirt kind of style she does, but when you're going over the jumps and every 5 seconds you have to peel off a visor off your helmet and you're driving with one hand and you have the gear shifter in the right hand, and that stuff gives you a lot of invaluable skills that you can't learn just by even late models in a normal dirt scene. So everything's moving so fast then, and she's learned a lot from there, and it's slow. Driving that slows everything down when you get on asphalt. I guarantee she doesn't even probably feel like she's going that fast on asphalt.
And
Everything feels
also
a lot slower to her.
And also really quick, just the Deegan name, it's synonymous in X Games and that sort of type racing scene right there. So if they hear that a Deegan's winning in NASCAR and stuff, some of those fans might want to start watching NASCAR on a regular basis.
Oh no, she would. I'm not even lying about this. She'd bring up the rate. She'd bring up viewership by at least 20%.
Really?
I would say that too.
I would say with how the rate, how many people watch right now, yeah.
I mean, Dale Jr.
Damn.
Dale Jr. brought the Xfinity ratings up 8%, and they didn't even hype that up at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
like,
20% though. I mean, he's
If-
a pretty notable name, but
5% when she makes her debut, and like
Yeah.
she's not
Okay.
that good, and like I don't know something, right? She becomes really good, then it starts going up. That's how
Okay.
it works. Yeah.
okay,
So,
I could see that. I
Yeah.
thought like immediately, like, oh, she makes her debut, 20%, like boom, like
no. If she becomes, let me pick a driver talent. If she becomes as good as
Gordon.
No, that's legend. Okay, whoa.
Yeah,
We don't want to go there. If she becomes as good as Gordon, 50%.
Do you think she'll ever be as good as Jeff Gordon? Like the whole panel?
No.
Do you guys think?
I think
Okay,
it's too early for that.
I just
That's-
said I don't want to hype her up. No.
Yeah, that's too much hype. Saying she's gonna be a top 5 ever, like that'd be tough.
That's my idol, my hero, in my opinion, the best driver. No, not inspiration, but the best driving talent I've ever seen in a race car is that guy. I ain't comparing her to that guy. No. When that guy, when he was the age of 14, was wheeling a 900 horsepower sprint car and dominating people. No, we ain't. Oh, we gotta wait there, my friends.
No, I could totally see that though. I could totally see, especially where NASCAR's ratings are right now. I could see her being the equivalent to what Tiger Woods did for golf.
Oh yeah.
If she can run well and win on a consistent basis, then I could totally see that.
Well, she'll never be that, but she could.
Well, just the way she turns the needle.
The
Are you
idea, the idea.
You're talking about golf.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you're talking about like Tiger Woods' whole career. I was thinking more like the last few weekends where he's been, he
No, his whole career, Tiger. Well,
Yeah.
I think what Hailey Deegan could do is she could
She
help
can get
the
close to
needle.
that.
She could help the needle. Tiger Woods is the needle. He's always been the needle his entire career. So and no one else in any other sport can do what he does. No one. So not even Deegan, not
I'd
Michael
say-
Jordan if he came back in the modern day. No one. Tiger Woods is a special little entity that he does.
so I guess it's safe to say that Natalie Decker has some catching up to do. Basically.
Listen, I don't want to be. Remember, I just told you I want to be positive, and I don't want to like disrespect anyone. And, like, I don't
Well, I
want to
mean,
disrespect
just be
anyone.
honest. I mean,
It's
just be
that-
honest here. Yeah. just be-
Let me think of an analogy. Okay, so the 60th pick in the NBA draft will probably not be that good of a basketball player, right? Okay, a driver in the 4th series of NASCAR who runs 15th to 10th every week and can't compete for wins in a
Yeah.
top level car is not going to be a super. If we can like,
that's a good
the
one.
nicest way I can put it.
No, that's a
I
good
mean,
one. That was a good one. I like that one. But so in the video, I'll upload like towards the end of the year. I'm also gonna talk about like, I mean, this is sad to say, but I don't think it matters how good Decker is, to be honest, because she does have money, that N29 Capital Partners money, and she's sort of becoming well known in the whole stock car scene as well. So I could see a Truck Series team just like, hey,
Oh, of course.
you're not that good, but here you go. And
Oh, of course, yeah.
and if that happens, then I'm done. Like no, like
No, I
you
mean,
can't
no,
be
it
there.
probably will happen. I wouldn't get mad about it. You can't get mad. That's the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's just I know it just doesn't. It's just not deserved. But
I mean, who's
hey, it's the sport.
what's his name? Michael Annette is still in that JRM car.
We need to get you and Kamikaze together on that one.
Yeah, Kamikaze likes a net. I don't know why.
What has he done?
That's what we asked.
Yeah, so
Well,
but no, but you shouldn't like. I don't get mad about that. Well, I was I guess salty about it because I like to see the best
Disappointed.
drivers, but you know.
disappointed. Is that a better word for it?
No, I've accepted it. I'm not even. I don't get upset about it. I've accepted it. Like if why would you hate on a kid? Like, because I'm 21 now. These drivers that get in could be younger than I am. Why would I hate on a kid that was privileged enough for his parents to give him the money and do what he wants to do? Like I can't hate for you on that. Like you have to take advantage of the opportunity, but I'm not going to hate on you for it. And unless you say or do stupid stuff, Austin Cindric. Unless that, then you're good in my books.
Yeah, my mom told me the same thing a while back because I was like talking so much mess on Michael Annette, and she was like, Darian, you know damn well if you had as much money as him and you could just buy your way into like NASCAR and stuff, you do the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah, I would do it too. You would do it. Everyone would do it. Like, come on. This is how it works.
Well, I mean, hell, I remember I forgot what race it was, but both the Dylans were doing awful. And I was like, oh, this, and their grandpa, and this. And I was watching the race with my grandpa, and he goes, yeah, but you know that if I had that money, I'd be putting you in a car. And I'm like,
Oh,
No.
yeah,
that's sweet.
yeah. That's. I mean, it's true. It is. I mean, no matter how good or bad someone is, if they have the money to do it and they have the passion and willingness to do it, they're gonna get a ride. And it's like I can't hate them for that.
No.
Austin Dillon's a good driver. He'd win a championship if he was in a good car.
Austin Dillon.
Wrong this
An
year.
Xfinity championship? What are we talking about here?
No,
He
will
won.
say,
Didn't he win the truck and Xfinity Series
He
championship?
did.
Yeah.
He did.
I will
He's a good
say-
driver. I'm telling you.
I will say he has proven me. Like when he won the 500 this year, I'm like, oh, whatever. He's not that good of a driver. I will admit, with the equipment he's had, and the fact that he has run competitively more than once and more than restrictor plate races, I will admit to be proven wrong on him. Ty Dillon, on the other hand, I'm more of a kamikaze.
Austin Dillon's not bad. He's just I don't think he's tops, but I think he could be a top. I think he's a top 10 driver in a 20th place car.
Dang, we went from talking about Deegan to Net and stuff to like that's kind of my fault.
Speaking of drivers getting opportunities, I mean, how would you guys feel, since it seems like it could happen? It's pretty likely that Suarez could go to the 41. Like, what's y'all's thoughts?
Oh, he wastes the ride. Wastes the ride.
But we just had a conversation about how he has the money. Like, how can you hate on it too bad?
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's a bust in my opinion already. So
that's a little extreme.
If he gets the 41 ride next year and runs the same way he's running this season, you're going to see a bus video probably mid-season already. I don't care. You'll see a bus video.
If he doesn't make the playoffs, if he gets the 41 and doesn't make the playoffs next year, I'll join the bus bandwagon. If that's what you call it.
I've already started it. I started it, by the way.
You got the script.
I don't write.
I'm not ready to jump on yet. I'm still not ready to jump on yet.
No, I think he'll be better next year, no matter what. Well, not no matter what team. If he's on the 41, I think he'll be better than he was this year.
So speaking of, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you look at Joey Logano. He looked atrocious for the most part for those years in the 20. Yeah, he won a race.
Not comparable. That's not comparable. We've had this.
Why?
That's not comparable.
Why again? The age is not the age is
6. Logano was like 19, 20 years old.
But they have the same amount of cup experience at this point.
Age has to come into it. Has to be a factor to a certain extent.
Daniel Suarez won an Xfinity Series championship.
An accident. It was an accident. It was an accidental championship.
No, I know you're right.
Cole Witt doesn't fit. That's Eric
Take
Jones.
notes, chat. This is how you trigger Darian. But I mean, Joey Logano has proven to be one of the top, 10, maybe top 5. I wouldn't go that far yet, based on the way a lot of the drivers in the series are, but definitely a top talent. And he looked like he looked like a chicken with his head cut off half the time when he was with Gibbs. He had 2 wins, and that is definitely more than Suarez. And I will give him credit on that. But it took him going to Penske to get into the right set of scenarios for him to really showcase how good he is. So I am willing to give Suarez that chance, since, I mean, I was wrong about Logano too. I will admit that again. I think that was more the 13, 14-year-old in me, though. But at the time. But yeah, I am willing to give Suarez that one last chance. But if he goes to SHR and they're still running as well as they're running this year, I mean, you saw how Almirola is showing off how much better he can be in a good equipment. Harvick compared to RCR is showing off how he is one of the best drivers in the last 20 years, I would say. Kurt Busch is Kurt Busch. He's always going to be good. It's going to have to take a disaster like Penske 2008 for him to look really bad, or mid 2000s there. I would give him that chance. But if he does not, produce results in the year or two coming up, then yeah, I think it's time to move on from Suarez.
Yeah, completely agree. And so speaking of Suarez, there is a race where he's probably going to wreck at again this week. Dover. He's going to wreck at Dover. So
I was a specific transition.
So it's a very odd transition there, but I made it work. So Let's make our Dover picks here. The first race of the second round is this Sunday at Dover on NBC. Is it on NBC or NBC Sports?
NBC Sports.
I
Yeah.
still can't get used to that. But anyways, let's make our picks. So for the who's gonna suck pick, I'll start off. I'm wearing a shirt, ironically, Bubba Wallace. He's pretty much been sucking all year, especially last week. I checked the points, and he's 27th. Like, even for Richard Petty motorsport standards, that's pretty bad. And I think he just passed Casey Kane in the points last week. Granted, Kane's been out the last 3 races too, or 4. So that's not all that good. But yeah, Bubba, what else is new? He's gonna suck again this week. Jarrett.
I'm going to take a little more of a chance. Granted, this guy's been a little better in more of the second half of his career at this track, but I think he's having a down year this year, and I think that's going to sort of continue here. My pick for who I think is going to do bad at Dover is Denny Hamlin.
Oh.
I was thinking about Hamlin. He's been so bad lately, but I figured now he's eliminated, he's just going to go out there and race. I feel like he'll be okay.
I don't know. His career overall, while he's improved, he's still nowhere near like a top contender to think about when you go there, and I think that he'll continue that.
His time is running out.
Yeah.
There's a certain dirt driver who's really good in the JGR driver lineup that's about to come up soon. Take that ride. You guys should know who it is.
Danny Hamlin doesn't. As long as he's got FedEx behind him the next few years, I don't know.
I think if he doesn't perform, there's a certain guy there that's going to come up.
Well, I assume you're talking about Christopher Bell, but I think I don't know how many years is left in Hamlin's contract. If it gets to where there's 1 year left, they might buy him out early. But if he's still got 2 or 3 years left, I don't.
If Christopher Bell is
I'm no accountant, but
they'll ship Hamlin out in a heartbeat.
I mean, they've already delayed Bell for 1 extra season, and they're lucky he didn't leave.
And FedEx was with Jason Leffler before Denny Hamlin. So I think they're more. I think the fact that Hamlin's for the most part kind of delivered it is why they're staying. But I think they're more loyal to JGR.
I see what you did there, Jarrett. I've seen with the way Hamlin's delivered. You walked right into that one.
Hey.
My quality of jokes is receding more than my hair.
So Eric, who's gonna suck?
I'm only gonna pick this guy because I didn't think he was gonna make it through the first round anyways. So I think now's where his season gets cut short. Alex Bowman. He ran well at Bristol at the beginning of the year, which is I don't even know if you can really compare that to Dover. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not feeling Bowman. He qualified well for the Roval, but he didn't run particularly exceptionally. I feel like he's going to run 15th like usual.
Radman?
I don't know. Who's going to suck? I don't know. Can I just pick like the guy that runs 39th? Whoever that might be? No. Okay.
Derek Cope.
This is hard because I think Dover is it's not a track where I'd pick a Hendrick car. I mean, I don't think Bowman would suck. I just think Bowman would run where he is, and technically that is not doing well. But I would say who's in the chase. I don't think he's gonna suck, but I think they might underperform. Kurt Busch might get like a 16th place finish, and I don't know.
By that team standards, that's sucking.
It is okay. So I guess I say Kurt Busch. I mean, I'm shooting my dart. I don't really know who's gonna be. I don't know, but I say Kurt Busch though.
All right. So now
I'm really bad at predicting things. If you guys can't tell. I said Chase Elliott would win the championship.
So,
come on.
So was everyone else. I predicted Eric Jones to make the Final Four. That's how bad I am.
He's a good driver.
He is. He is a good driver. He's consistent. That's why. But then when the playoffs start, he's not consistent anymore.
I'm as high as you can be about Eric Jones, and even I didn't have him going past the round of 8. So goodness.
It was all Harvick's fault.
Oh, I mean, it was.
Harvick's fault
Well,
there.
it wasn't all Harvick's fault, you know.
Mostly his
But
fault.
mostly his fault. It set a bad tone. Anyway, sorry. Give us your underdog pick.
No, I'm still deciding. So, Jarrett, go first.
Dark horse. Okay, I don't know if this person equates as a dark horse, but seeing how they haven't won this year, and they actually ran pretty decent in lower equipment at Dover, I have faith in Eric Almirola to be my dark horse pick. So I'll go with double A.
A squared. That's his hashtag, at least.
A squared.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with A squared then.
I'm going to go with another guy who, again, I'm not sure that he counts as an underdog because he almost won this weekend at the Roval, but he too has not won this season, and he's been good at Dover in his career. I think Kyle Larson is a guy you need to watch out for. I think, I have him. Oh gosh, I don't actually remember why I had him being eliminated. I think I had him being eliminated in this round, but if he gets through this round, I think he has a good shot making it all the way to Homestead. So
That's not a dark horse.
well, you got
Larson.
it's a dark horse. Like Larson's he just now managed to finish 12th in points. Picking the guy who's 12th in points to run in like the top 2 or 3, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's gonna be top 2 or 3. I think that's an underdog
He
prediction.
runs there all the time. That was the only thing I was like questioning.
That's disrespectful. You picked Larson as a dark horse. As a
He's
dark
not-
horse?
he's not- he's
That's
not-
disrespectful.
He
He
picked
just
a Stuart
he
Haas car.
dominated the Roval race.
He picked a Stuart Haas
That is
car. I'm not-
disrespectful, Eric. That
All
is
right.
disrespectful.
You want
The
a real underdog?
disrespect here.
You want a real underdog to crap your pants with? I think Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets a top 5.
That's a dark horse.
And that's a dark
Now
horse.
we're talking.
All right.
You're picking a Roush Fenway car. That's a dark
there
horse.
you go.
It's Larson's like
Dark
a
horse.
top 3 driver in the sport. What are we doing here?
Is
He's driving a 20th place car.
Is Kenta driving this week?
He is, but he's going to run 15th at best.
Watch he comes out and actually does run
He
well.
almost won Indy. He should have won. Oh, he shouldn't. I shouldn't say he should have won, but he should have finished top 5 at Indy. That would have been something.
I think he should. I will go that far to say I think he should have won that race.
Mhm.
I'll go that far.
Larson, a dark horse. What's wrong with you? Anyways, go ahead.
I feel like we've all picked Larson as a dark horse at some point. Why are we picking on me? All right.
Because it's easy. I don't know.
He hasn't won a race in a year and a half. His win streak
He's
is
ran
less than
good. He's ran good, though. He's ran pretty good.
All right.
Radman.
I wanted to say Almirola too, but the dark horse. Who's somewhat. I say. No, he's in a Hendrick car. I'm not gonna pick that. They suck. Suarez. He'll do well. Yeah, Suarez will do well.
I think he ran top 5 here in the spring.
Oh, he did.
He did.
I didn't know that. I'm just thinking he'll do well.
I think he was top 10. I think he had a top 10 finish, too.
Although, then again, according to my own judgment standards, with Larson not being a dark horse, he's in a Gibbs car. So technically, Suarez shouldn't be a dark horse, but he hasn't run well. So,
I see. Yeah.
When in doubt, go with Derek Cope. It makes the chat happy.
I'll
So-
stick with Suarez.
They literally changed Derek Cope's Wikipedia page for us.
They did.
Oh my
They,
god.
they put that he'd become a meme from the NASCAR Weekly podcast from such YouTubers as What Incarnation, Jared Edwards, and Wes Graham. It was literally for about a month on his Wikipedia page before someone put it down.
Wait, it was a month? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was there for a while. I remember being on a boat in Wisconsin and I think Carnation's like, dude, check it out. We just changed it. Someone just changed his Wikipedia page, and I'm scroll down and I'm like, wow, that's really something.
All right,
Anyway, picks.
So for my dark horse pick, the greatest of all time, Mr. 7-time Jimmy Johnson, who is the greatest of all time, by the way. He choked last week, but Dover's been a pretty strong track for him in the past, so he's my dark horse. Yeah, he's my dark horse for this weekend.
Doesn't he have like
Chat, I need you to do something for me. This man just said Jimmy Johnson at Dover is a dark horse. I need you to clip that and
I was
make
gonna
sure
say-
that is shown for the rest of his life.
He didn't even run good last week. He didn't even run good.
I don't care if
last
he's
time they
been
were there.
I don't care if he's been horrible this year. That dude's the king of Dover. I don't care. I don't care. That's like saying Jeff Gordon's been horrible the entire season. Then he goes to Martinsville and he's a dark horse. No, I don't think Jimmy will probably run well, but you probably that's a good pick for a dark horse. But just it's really funny because like when you look at his stats, it's like there's no way this
Yeah,
dude's
I
a
know.
dark horse at Dover.
If anything, it just speaks to how far they've fallen in just 1 year.
Mhm.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Right.
I like how after years of hating him for being too good, suddenly NASCAR fans are in love with Jimmy Johnson.
That's
For being
crazy.
so bad.
That's how the
NASCAR
world works.
Well, NASCAR fans are probably the most bipolar fans in all sports. So
Yeah, Radman is a Gordon fan. You know how NASCAR fans are towards him have changed, you know?
Well, I don't think he was hated when I was still too young. I don't really remember it.
Oh, I remember.
I remember it. 2004. Oh,
Oh, well, okay, I wasn't too.
boy.
Well, I was 7.
Even-
That's still young.
Even
but-
2007 or 8, I remember being somewhere and Gordon fans got a lot of them got treated bad.
Oh yeah, I remember the Talladega beer can stuff, but I always kind of like understood that because it was Gordon versus Earnhardt. So like that was
Yeah.
the one thing I
No,
always
like-
understood.
in the Fontana race that year, I think that was like the 9th race of 04. He blew an engine while leading, and the entire stand just went up. Like they were going nuts.
I don't
That's what I
remember
was
that.
saying.
Wow, it's weird.
Kyle Busch took over that position in 2008. So
Even still today, my mom still. Oh, go ahead.
You know Jeff Gordon had to be like after the race because I think he crashed out, but he had to be like on his plane on the way home or already home, being like, "Wow, it's been lifted off my back now. I can actually be appreciated."
And also, like my mom, she still, even when Johnson still wrecks, and like even when Gordon still did, she still gets really excited for that because she despises those two. But,
Anyway, picks.
but yeah,
We
anyways,
got off track.
yeah, but anyways, picks to win this week's Dover race. Jarrett, go first.
Okay. Well, this guy's a different person due to a certain event that happened earlier this year from the driver he was last year. I think that.
No, don't say it.
Yep. I think it's gonna be Elliott. I'm picking him.
Ah, you took my
Picking Chase.
pick. No.
You
I'm
can
sorry.
pick. You can pick
You
him
can pick
too.
him.
Oh, okay.
I have faith in him. I actually do. I don't know why. Like I do because every time I do, it doesn't work for me. But I just got a feeling. I got a feeling.
Your subconscious is telling you he's really good at Dover because he is. So that's
Yeah.
why you picked him.
Yeah. We'll keep it like that. Yeah, I have faith in him. I think he's my pick to win.
Radman. So Radman's pick is Elliott as well.
Elliott, baby. Chase Elliott fan over here. Biased. Let's go.
Eric.
Well, I was actually split 3 ways between Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Chase Elliott as being my pick. So I'm going to take these 3 cars. I'm going to put them into, not a hat, but I'm going to put them down here, shuffle them up. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'm definitely shuffling now.
I can hear him.
Yeah,
We
I
can
can
hear
hear
him.
All right.
Sounds like a Ricky
Oh,
Stenhouse
well,
car.
what do you know? We got another Chase Elliott on our hands. So Chase Elliott's going for the clean sweep on our panel this week. Is that going to be how it is?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. For you guys, it is, but not me.
All right.
So let me tell y'all something. So last week, I thought Larson was out of it there for a second. And then, Hemrick spins out Earnhardt, and then he passes Earnhardt there, and he's in the playoffs and stuff. By the way, all Larson fans are they're now required to become Hemrick fans for 2019 as well. So just saying. But now I am absolutely convinced that a higher power wants Larson to win the title. Yes, I'm absolutely convinced that God himself wants Larson to win this title. He agrees with me. And for that, I was about to say Chase. And for that, Larson is going to win at Dover and is going to start the championship run of 2018.
I like that every week your pick is basically Larson, and you end it by saying, "This is the week that he's going to start his champion." I mean, you did it at Vegas. I don't remember if you did it at a.
He was consistent. He's been consistent.
I guarantee, like me, he was like that for 143 straight races between 2008 and 2012. This
No, but
is
I'm
the
not-
week.
but
Then
I'm
it's
now
like the
convinced, though.
144th week. I was right.
But I am absolutely 100% convinced now. All right,
I'm
a
good.
higher power wants Larson to win this title. He is out of it for. It looks like it is over there. Then all of a sudden, Hemrick spins out Earnhardt coming into the final turn. Hemrick was racing good he was racing good the whole race. And then all of a sudden, he spins out Jeffrey Earnhardt, and Jeffrey Earnhardt can't get his car started. And Larson, with a beat-up car, he hits the wall twice, by the way. He can't even turn it. He gets into the playoffs. No.
See, I
Like,
feel
a
like
higher
you
power agrees with me.
Talking like this about Larson has to be like how that drunk dude in his 40s that's a Buccaneers fan talked when they signed Fitzpatrick. This is the year Fitzmagic gonna take us to the Super Bowl. By week 4, he's already been benched for famous Jameis.
He better win the title this year because when that new package comes in, his advantage at Homestead is gone. So
Yeah,
he better win it this year.
Who said that? By the way, who said the Bucks were going to win the Super Bowl? I don't. Oh my god. Anyway,
drunk Bucks fan.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, actually, that's a good pick. I mean, if it's not one of the big three, I mean, it's either Larson or Elliott, I think, or Keselowski. He's been up there all the time. So.
Yeah, and like you said, Larson's a top 3 driver. Maybe top 2.
Is.
You can make
he
arguments
is.
there.
Yeah, he
top
is.
2. So.
Yeah, trust me, I go to bed every night hoping he was in better equipment. No offense to Ganassi. If he was if he was in that 78 car, if he was in the 4, if he was in the 18, good God Almighty, he would.
I talk about that all the time, man.
See, I think that Jamie McMurray is the greatest litmus test for how good that Ganassi really is. Because I do not think that Jamie McMurray is a bad driver. I think he's a serviceable driver. And whether he's making the chase or he's running 27th, that is how good that equipment is for that given year.
Yeah, Jamie Mack is a driver that pushes the equipment so hard. That's why sometimes he gets in trouble. But he's fast. So that's what the equipment gives him. And the fact that Larson blows him out every race is just oh my god. It's just please someone get this man a better, or someone give Ganassi the greatest equipment of all time, and we could just go that way. They would think the best.
Imagine this guy in Gibbs equipment.
He'd probably have
Kyle Busch.
He'd probably have he'd probably be the same as Gordon, win 10, 13 races a season.
Whoa.
Early in his career. I don't know. What do you think, Radman?
Well, no, not in today's NASCAR. It's too. I think it's too hard.
Yeah.
But if you win, how much races has Harvick won this year? 7.
7.
That's equivalent to 12, 10 years ago. It's a lot harder to win races now. So and that's not because of equipment. It's just because these races are weird when it gets to the end.
It's weird.
So
I'd be curious to know what all 4 of our top 3, if we had to just rate on driver skill right now, who's our top 3 drivers in the sport? And I think it sounds like we all agree Larson's probably in there.
Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Jimmy Johnson.
Okay, I would say, right now, I think Jimmy Johnson's head's not quite in it. I put him 4th, so I say Busch, Harvick, and Larson.
I'd always talent-wise put Jimmy Johnson above Kevin Harvick. I think you're right. Head-wise, he's not in it right now, but I also think that equipment-wise, it's just not giving it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he is half the season the worst Hendrick car, I think it's more the car than. And I'm not saying this is Chad Canales' fault either. I think he's one of the greatest crew chiefs as well. But yeah, I do not put this season on Jimmy Johnson as much as I put it on his equipment.
Oh, so if we're talking about from a talent perspective here, top 3, easily Busch or Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Joey Logano.
What? Hold on, what? Did he say Joey Logano?
If we're going to talk about this from a talent perspective, Logano is easily top 3.
He's the 3rd most talented driver on his team.
Yeah, top 3.
Okay.
Carnation, do that.
The top 2 are hard for me. It's 3, 4, and 5 because I feel like they're all tied. That's the problem. Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch. That's one Jimmy Johnson, 2 Kyle Busch, 3. This is where it gets so hard. 3, 4, and 5 to me is between Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and Kevin Harvick. That's where I'm at.
I'd factor Brad Keselowski. I'd probably put Keselowski at 5, and then I'd look at Elliott at 6.
Oh, I know Elliott's still young. If we're talking talent, if we're talking talent plus experience plus championships, then yeah, Larson and Elliott drop back. But just straight up talent, I think Elliott's in there.
I just still can't believe Eric just said Blaney's better than Logano. Ugh, I don't know what to say. Usually I have a comeback.
The 3 Penske guys are equal.
That's debatable, but I think Keselowski's better than both.
Well, yeah. Well, no.
The reason why you can't say that is because remember, Joey Logano in 2014, 2015 and 2016 was lightning fast. Like when he had the equipment underneath him, like he was, whew, that car was yummy. To say the
Yeah.
least.
Especially the
That's
end
why
of
I think like
2015.
so. Like yeah, Brad Keselowski won the 2012 championship, but Logano should have won. He should have won one of those titles. Like he was,
Yes.
especially 2015. He was nutty fast. That I remember. He sweeped around then.
Yeah.
2014,
That was
he
nuts.
was fast too. He was
He
fast.
was-
2014 too.
So
But-
I think they're all equal. I mean, I don't think anyone's better than the other.
They're close. I to be fair, okay, Logano's probably better than Ryan Blaney. I was being a little exaggerative there, but Brad Keselowski's way better than Joey Logano, in my opinion. Keselowski does more little things. I feel like Keselowski can, like this whole year, Penske's kind of had a down year. Who broke out of that slump? Brad Keselowski. Now, to be fair, I also think Paul Wolfe is a better crew chief than Todd Gordon, so who knows? Maybe that could be his advantage. And even Logano, when he was really good, 14 to 16, his best year still wasn't as good as Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick's best years. We've seen in the last few years, or even Jimmy Johnson. So I'd put Logano like 8th, maybe on my list of best drivers, but he's not better than Keselowski.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Darian. I'd put him somewhere there too. I mean, like Harvick is in front of him. Martin Truex Jr. is in front of him.
I forgot about Truex.
But is Logano still top 5? He's the at least top 5.
No. No.
Jesus
Jimmy
Christ.
Johnson, Kyle Busch. I'll give you 5 names that are indisputable. Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson. You'd say those 3 are better than Joey Logano. Martin Truex Jr. You gotta put him in there. I mean, once you get him good equipment, I mean, dude's unstoppable. And he won back-to-back championships, nationwide championships back then. Kevin Harvick.
I guess I'm
Those are 5 names that like I straight up give you. You can't really debate. Like I didn't put Chase Elliott in there. I didn't put Keselowski in there. Like, those 5 names you have to say is better than Joey Logano. So,
I guess I'm coming from a raw talent perspective here.
Truex has won more championships. Harvick won in his 3rd race ever in the Cup Series in really hard circumstances, beating a legend in 2001 that actually won the championship, and then got in the 4 car and has dominated, been the best driver since 2014. Truex in the right equipment has dominated.
Well, yeah,
you
obviously.
see what I'm saying? Like,
Well, yeah, from a stats perspective, yes, they are better. But if we're going from just pure talent, just like,
okay, but how do you
just
judge
talent.
pure talent? You want to put him in like a go-kart and then put Truex in a go-kart and like
Why not? Just
Here
put
we
them in
go.
go-karts there and just see,
Go have it.
like, even
Go-karts,
go-karts to see who's going to win.
put him in the IROC series. Let's spec it out and have at it.
Oh, that'd
Have
be
them-
perfect. I
have
miss
them-
the Rock.
Have them build one of those little cars that the Boy Scouts do and make them race those. That'll really determine who knows what they're doing.
I guess it's because, from a very early age, these guys were just straight up dominating in anything they
Hey.
drove. So,
Super chat. You want me to read it?
oh my gosh, my first super chat.
$2 from Inside Uranus. I got your back, Darian. Joey is top 3 raw talent.
Oh, that's perfect. Yo, I'm screenshotting this so I can. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, thanks, man. I thought I was gonna go all night with that one, so thanks. I appreciate that.
It took you going way out on a limb with some of your opinions here to get their attention.
Well, I go out way out on a limb with a lot of stuff that I say.
But this was
It's not-
like on the very edge. Like I'm worried for your safety on this pick.
All right, so really quick, Radman has to head out and stuff, but yeah, thanks for being on tonight, man.
Yeah,
Thank you guys
thank
for
you.
having me again. It was fun. Got to talk more about the sport and everything. So yeah, I'm glad we didn't talk about the package for like the entire time. I was scared of that. I didn't want to talk.
No, that would have been boring.
But yeah, Hailey Deegan hype. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I'm out. See you guys.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on, man. I'm looking in the chat, and I haven't seen it, but apparently they've made some sort of addition to Mike Harmon's page. So
No, not my comment.
Wait, really?
that's what I haven't seen it, but that's what
All
they're
right.
saying.
Someone check on that. So let's move on really quick. So we have
I'm
a few more
looking.
things to talk about.
Yeah.
Jordan Anderson, Truck Series regular. Last week he had gotten into some controversy. Last week there were charges. There was a warrant out for his arrest there, and it was for a stolen truck. When I guess now that the facts and stuff have came out, now the charges were officially dropped today, because some people had shed light on the situation and stuff, including last week, including myself, and I will admit I jumped the gun on way too fast there. And luckily, I was able to dig myself out of that hole by shedding some light to the story last week. So if you're on Twitter, some of you probably saw it. If you didn't, it's in my media section. So go take a look. And shout out to the guy, I think his name is Tim, who told me, who basically talked about the whole situation. So shout out to him. And also Jordan Anderson, he liked my whole public apology tweet from like 6 days ago, last night. And he now follows me on Twitter. So yeah. See how that works. So interesting how stuff works out sometimes. But what are your guys' thoughts?
If you're watching, Mr. Anderson, we'd love to have you on the podcast. But anyway, my thoughts. I didn't even look that much into the issue. I saw the news and I thought, oh, well, if that's true, that's unfortunate. That's a bad deal. But I didn't have any strong opinions about it because I just saw it as unfortunate, no matter which way the needle fell. And at the end of the day, I guess I'm glad that it sounds like everything's been sorted out. He can focus on what's important for him in his career and his life. And it sounds like, common sense, or I don't know if common sense, whatever, but just sensible heads prevailed and figured it all out. So that's good to see.
Yeah, I didn't see much in it anyway, but I'm happy that, someone innocent didn't get framed. Was it Mike Harmon that screwed him over?
I don't know.
No, it was. Oh, what's the guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. Hold on. So, just let me go on.
People are saying it was Mike Harmon, and I'm just.
It was Mike Harmon.
Okay, and they also said the Mike Harmon page got changed back. Can somebody at least tell me what it was in that page? Because
what did it say?
I love our chat. Like I hope if you change I am not condoning changing stuff, the false information on Wikipedia. But if you do, by some odd chance, do that, if you would tag me in a tweet, I would not be horribly mad at you. I would tell you that I don't know what I'd say, but I'd be fine seeing it so I can report it. Okay, so that's all out of the way. Read between lines.
But anyways, I'm glad that that whole issue was able to be rectified and solved, and wish him nothing but the best in the future. And also another funny story. Wow, we're almost hitting 2 hours here. So Gregson versus Hamlin's spotter. Jarrett, you want to explain more here?
Oh, let me look on Twitter. I wanna make sure that I read it completely right. But I was pretty what's the best word?
He got tense there. He got salty. Like this Hamlin spotter was really salty there.
You can tell that that Noah Gregson has sort of been kicked out of the Joe Gibbs circle.
I don't like him at all. I can tell.
So he put a video of Michael McDowell put on of last lap, Denny Hamlin crashing someone. Maybe Michael McDowell. And he put an emoji like this and tagged but he tagged Denny Hamlin's spotter. And let me find it. What's his spotter's name?
I can't remember what it said, but
oh geez. Oh, it looks like he's wanting to defensive mode. So let's see. Good Lord.
What?
This dude is really self-conscious about what people think of him. He's like the Dave Moody of spotters. Anyway.
It's not good.
He put Denny Hamlin messed up, period. But unfortunately, you're not smart enough to understand it. And then it wasn't the act of messing up, but the fact that you continuously try and justify your F-ups with others. Learn from your mistakes. You have more of them than trophies you reference.
Yikes,
he was salty.
I was like, ooh, we got the Moody of spotters.
Dude, he was so mad.
He is officially. I think it's official. He has been kicked out of the play sandbox of Joe Gibbs Racing.
Did y'all see that clip of that Seahawks player giving the finger to his own team when he was being carted off the field? Yeah. I feel like that's Noah Gregson.
Wait, was that Earl Thomas? Wasn't it?
I don't remember who it was, but I know. I feel like that's
29.
Was it?
Oh my gosh!
It was the guy who flipped off his team. I don't know. There's not very many of them.
I got tagged by Kurt Bombedo. or Bombito. Either way, thank you, Kurt. And Kurt has.
Jesus!
Oh!
Good Lord, it's a
Oh!
ghost! Oh my God, who is this man?
Toast.
Danny B, what's up? What's up, man?
We're talking about Mike Harmon's wiki page.
I'm tired.
Dude, I got to do a night shift tonight, man. I feel you.
I worked 9 to 8:30 today.
A rough one.
Would you like something to cheer you up?
Sure.
This is what Mike Harmon's Wikipedia page was. Busch Series wins 90. Busch top 10 is 275. Busch poles 35. And then the next one, awards. He is a meme made by one incarnation, 32 assassin.
Wait, was that a tag? Were we tagged in it?
No, we weren't. Thank God.
Oh,
I was tagged in it. Oh my God, this is great.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's perfect.
You guys
That's
are
perfect.
I know we haven't talked to the chat as much. I know our relationship has been strained, but God, I love you guys. That's amazing. Oh man, I'm saving those pictures on my phone.
So really quick, Danny B, give us your picks for this Sunday's race at Dover.
We're at Dover this weekend. Okay. Who's gonna struggle? That's a tough one.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats.
Oh, Dent. I just think of that scene from Return of the Jedi. Dent.
You know what? I'm not looking at anything, so I don't know who finished where. But I can't remember how he did in the spring. But last week's winner, Ryan Blaney, I don't see him having a good run this weekend. As far as underdog, the guy who keeps surprising me week in, week out, my guy, Alex Bowman. He's definitely, that 88 team has stepped it up big time since the playoffs started. I'm really blown away by their performances. And then my winner is Kyle Busch.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
We picked the guy he beat last year.
Chase Elliott. Now, that's who I was thinking of. But I don't know. I just
3 of the 4.
I have picked
Here,
I
picked them.
picked Chase Elliott the last 2 weeks. Did me no good. So I'm gonna take a safer bet and go with Kyle Busch this week.
I talked about this with the guys before the show, but I found an interesting stat line in my NASCAR history book, and I think that this stat could be finalized with what Jimmy Johnson's done this weekend with his uncharacteristic mistake, if you want to even call it that. So I found the longest winning streak of years that a driver has won. Would you like to take a stab? The other two, no. Would you like to take a stab at where Jimmy Johnson ranks? He is tied, by the way, with somebody, but where he ranks in that list?
I have no clue, man. I'm too tired to even guess.
All right. I will say then. Third. He is third all time. Richard Petty won 18 straight years. David Pearson won 17 straight years. And Jimmy Johnson is tied with Ricky Rudd and Rusty Wallace, 16 straight years. So another interesting stat behind it. Tony Stewart, Darrell Waltrip, and Dale Earnhardt all tied with 15. Kyle Busch and Jeff Gordon tied with 14. And I don't think many people would have guessed this, but Denny Hamlin, 12. He's the next one on the list.
Wow, did not know that.
The more you know.
Dun, dun, dun,
I want to shout out Runnings Racing in the chat. He said he changed it to Michael Thickboy, Joseph Harmon, and he's exactly right.
Gosh.
Wait, hold on. Show it again, Eric.
Right.
It's on you.
Wait. No, Darian, screen share it so everyone can know.
Y'all are funny.
I just have to ask Wikipedia, why did you give people the ability to edit your website?
With great power comes great responsibility.
Darian, screen share it and then present yourself. Oh my
Wait,
God.
hold up. It's on Mike Harmon's, right?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Oh, man. This is the stuff that Fox Sports and NBC Sports will never get you guys. This is quality content.
Wait, hold up. Is it there? Hold on. Is it? Hold on.
Oh, I'm supposed to look at my Twitter apparently.
All right, hold on. Let me present myself
Oh
here.
my gosh. Oh, they changed it. Jeez.
Oh, now it says fat boy.
No.
Oh,
God.
man. Greatest fans in the world, man. I swear.
Too much.
Look at Michael Waltrip.
Oh no! Don't look.
No,
at
wait, hold on. Michael Waltrip?
Look at
No,
Michael,
don't.
look at Michael Waltrips and go down to the stats.
I'm scared.
Oh gosh. What are we doing?
Here we go.
Oh my god. Go down to his cup stats.
Where?
Look at the wins of top 10.
133.
Oh my god!
Okay, wait, I don't think you did. You present yourself? So they
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah.
No, I mean for the okay. So the rest of the
Yeah,
guys
they can see. They can see. Yeah.
That was a quiz.
Oh my god.
His last win was the 2004 Pepsi 300, where he got his 10,000th win in NASCAR.
Oh my gosh, I love you guys. I love the fans.
Oh man.
oh
I wish I wasn't so exhausted and it looked like depression. The depression memes all in one body, because I would be laughing a lot harder.
Guys, these fans are awesome.
Oh
Thank
my
you guys so much.
Wikipedia's gonna have to do some serious cleaning up at the end of this evening.
I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here waiting.
Real quick here. I thought this was supposed to be a very serious podcast. Didn't we have Dylan Smith and Real Radman on earlier?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
That's serious too.
Okay.
Then they left.
It is the ones where we get some serious guests on, where it becomes the most insane crap show at the end. Because you look at the one with Zach Harmon, what that turned out to be, and now what is this becoming?
Oh my gosh.
I want somebody to put in a.
Oh
Michael
no,
Wall.
the chat. Jennifer Joe Cobb.
Oh my god.
Let me go. No, here's the thing. I will go and like vet these things first.
Okay, go ahead.
If something like seriously messed up, I can be like, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, please be careful of Jennifer Joe Cobb. She's actually a very nice lady, so
She's a very nice lady. She runs in the back, but she's still a very nice lady there.
we have to respect women, guys.
Yeah. All right, what's this say? Wait, I don't see anything.
I don't see anything either.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Now I feel like people are just gonna be like, look at this one, and nothing will be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything, guys. I just refreshed it. Yeah, there's nothing there. So, all right. So, I guess the last thing we can talk about here is for the Daytona 500, you guys have some input because you can vote for what the infield is going to look like. And there's 3 options. I forgot what they were. I didn't really see them. I glanced at them for like a second. But yeah, if you go to the what was it, Jared? The Daytona International Speedway's website. You can vote on there.
Yeah. Also,
Yes.
apparently Jeffrey Earnhardt has 42 wins, 42 top 10s, and 42 poles. We don't have to look at it. We don't have to look at it, but yeah.
I believe it.
Oh my gosh. We do. Let's just say right now, for legal reasons, we don't condone this.
No,
we didn't.
No,
we didn't.
falsifying information is not cool.
Yeah.
But it is funny, but not cool.
See, what's going to be really bad is if one day I have a professor that's like, don't use Wikipedia. It's not a valuable source. And being like, well, yeah, it is. And it's like, I watch your podcast. No, it's not.
Jared, I just saw a dog go in your room. Was that a dog?
Yeah. Yeah, it's my dog, Gus.
Well, all right, guys. I guess that'll do it for another.
Hey, real quick, since I got on here so late, I don't know if y'all talked about this at all. Did y'all talk about how cool it is that Lionel Racing is finally making 164 scale truck diecasts?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They are.
So yeah, there was a photo leak. I guess it might have been leaked out more or less today, but it was on the back of a pickup truck of the first mold, and it looked like it was the Ford mold. Now I don't know if they're making individual molds for each truck, or if they're just going to use the same mold and just put different decals onto it. Either way, I think it's just cool just to finally get a diecast like 164 trucks.
So all the trucks might look the same, kind of like in NASCAR 09, where every car looked the same.
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, y'all. I hate to keep coming back to this, but did y'all look at Jennifer Jo Cobb's page?
I'll share it in a little bit.
Yeah, we can. Whatever. I can just read it. They've changed her name to Jennifer Jo Corn on the Cob. She has 666.
Oh my god.
That's good. That is clever. The thing is, I could believe that would be her real name.
6 years. I gotta.
One more. Daniel Hemrick.
I know.
Daniel Hemrick apparently has. Let's see. It has 100. So Daniel Hemrick has 123 million.
Wait, yo, they took out her birthday. They took out her birthday. Is Aaron about here? 660.
Well, listen, Daniel Hemrick has negative 678 top 10s and negative 987 polls.
All right, one more. Let's look up Hemrick.
Oh my god,
it's too horrible.
Hey, hold on.
Y'all need to put this back.
Oh my gosh! I swear.
That is crazy. Like, he has that many wins, folks, but he owes this many top 10s and this many polls.
See, when someone finally makes a Wikipedia page about the podcast, I don't know whether or not to edit it or not, because it probably all is true, even if it's not.
I think if anybody ever puts that into a Wikipedia format, that it just belongs on like not Wikipedia, like another website, like Reddit or something like that.
All right, someone said to look at Ty Dillon's, but I don't know.
Oh my god!
No. I think we need to show him.
Ricky Stenhouse is Ricky the Caution Clock Jr.
Hey,
all right, we're good.
Real quick, if you can change, if you can change the pictures at all,
No.
We're about to end it.
We can't have that. That's gonna get too much too quick.
Yeah.
No. I was gonna say just find like the most random person you can think of. Don't find nothing like bad, but just sneak it in there.
Wow. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up on a high note there. So let's start our outros, Eric.
Thanks everyone for watching. There's still over 150 people watching. That's really great. Thank you to our two guests, Dylan Smith, for calling in. That was really great. And Real Radman, of course. Thanks for spending most of the show with us. That was great to talk. Great to talk to both of you guys. As for me, I've been uploading a ton of Out of the Groove lately. So if you want to know all the ins and outs about the big stories around NASCAR lately, I've probably made a video about it. So you can go check those out if you haven't already. So other than that, I'm going to keep uploading those. I might have some other more interesting things up my sleeve in the works for the next few days or the next couple weeks. So keep an eye out for those. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, everyone. It's been another great show.
I'll go next. So I'm the Iceberg. Another fun podcast to say the least. Next week we will be on Danny's channel, so be sure to look out for that. Tomorrow I'm gonna have Missing Rings come out for someone big. So I've had a lot of people requesting
Junior.
No. Anyway. So be on the lookout for that some point tomorrow. I'll probably have to work on it tonight after work. But so there's that. Please remember, click the like button and subscribe to all these guys. Subscribe to Radman too. I don't know. From there, I think this has been a great podcast. So Danny, what would you like your good outro to be?
Old man Danny.
Make sure they don't edit it on Wikipedia, though.
I'm tired. I'm Danny B. How are you? Come watch on my channel next week. I'll actually be off next week on Wednesday, so I'll be in a better mood. Go subscribe to my channel. I need more subscribers so that I can become a full-time YouTuber and not have to work a regular job. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Sounds like he's begging. Like, for only 10 cents a day, you can get his channel up, so he doesn't have to work another day in his life.
Just like
I love you, YouTube. Good night.
Sarah McLachlan plays in the background.
This is poor commercials with the sad puppies where they get you to
Okay, no, let's not talk about that. Anyway.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a little much. Not saying Danny's the sad puppy. Oh, but he isn't. Oh. But he is dead.
Anyway,
Anyways,
the show must go on.
Anyways, or it must end now. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm finally I am so happy to be out of YouTube prison now, or jail, or whatever you want to call it. I'm glad the strike's up. By the way, tomorrow, since the strike is up, that means the second channel is being brought back to life. Black Flags Matter Gaming. I am going to be streaming on NASCAR Heat 3. I am going to be doing some online play. So if you want to race me tomorrow, then that'll be the perfect time to do so. So tune into that, and also, well, go ahead.
For just in case there's one of you in the chat, maybe you live here, I will be in Milwaukee this weekend on Saturday night and Sunday running a marathon. So if you want to see me look like I'm dead, come out and see me. Should be done around noon. So shameless plug.
Yeah, and also good luck to the Iceberg on his marathon this weekend too. So hopefully he'll win it. Hopefully he'll win that one, or at least run good in it.
I'm not Kenyan.
Anyways, guys, make sure to subscribe to my second channel, Black Flags Matter Gaming, because I am finally allowed to post some content on there. So Black Flags Matter Gaming is now officially brought back from the dead. And also be on the lookout for a brand new championship seasons video sometime this week. So yeah, you have that to look forward to. This is a great first stream back. And anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.